Yeah, just wanted to check something with Paul about the top of the show when it's available. Thank you. I can, mate, yeah. Right, at the top of the show, I'm thinking we might be better off doing what we did either yesterday or a couple of days ago, and just have it off on the platform from the start, because obviously then Paul can talk about the repair table with me, whereas if I were using to bring him in while it's on, that's already seen it. Right. Yeah, probably take it off and then pop into it when I... Which one of them's wrestling, Charlie or Paul? Right, Coach, could you just change something on the screen quickly so I can make sure that it is... Yeah, that's fine. Works. Excuse me. evening and welcome along to the MODUS Super Series, where there are just 3 more sessions to go until finals night here on Saturday, the start of Group B this evening. And we have seen already one player qualify for finals night, Paul Nicholson alongside me, and you were commentating when Andy Hamilton ruled Group A.
Well, like you said earlier, everybody got hammered, but the fact of the matter is he was just better than everybody else. He had the best running average throughout the group. He was hitting the doubles in the vital moments. He was getting a lot of 180s, which isn't really something that Andy Hamilton is noted for. But if he's starting to find that kind of comfort on that stage, there's no telling what he could do over the next few weeks.
You can see there he finished a couple of points ahead of Conor Heneghan, who had won all 5 games on Tuesday, but then on Wednesday didn't manage to replicate that. Hamilton a bit more consistent over the couple of days, and that means Heneghan will be in Group B tonight.
Absolutely right. If you look at Smith-Neale, he had a really good start on Monday, but then he had a bit of a dip and then found his form again, and he was in and out of that. But Hamilton, over the course of the 3 days, just seemed to be on a similar level, if not an upward curve throughout the Tuesday and Wednesday sessions. Heneghan will be ruining that really poor start to Wednesday after that undefeated Tuesday, but we'll be really interested to see his mindset coming into tonight.
So the Hammer smashed it in Group A, and then in Group C, which got underway earlier today, Walters was flawless, won all of his matches.
He was really good. We all picked Scott to have a really good day, but it's really difficult for us to call someone coming into this action and getting an undefeated day. I was really impressed with Lee Shewan on debut. I think he looked really encouraging, but they're the 2 at the top, and they're going to take some catching. I think the game between Walters and Shewan in the first match on Friday will be very telling to see who takes the impetus, and I suppose everybody else wants Walters to dominate the group, so there's at least one person they can actually catch.
Yeah, so it was a brilliant day for Scott Walters, but something else also happened today. Well, almost happened, actually. Just talk us through this, Paul, because Steve Brown nearly produced the first 9-dart finish here at the Super Series.
Well, Phil Bars and I were having a chat about whether players like to see their average whilst they're playing, and we were somewhat taken aback by the fact that 2 maximums were hit, and then Brown, who went the treble 15 route for the 141, that's how close he was to getting the first 9-darter in this building. But you see the reaction from Steve as to what he wanted and what he wasn't able to grasp. Gutted for him. We really wanted to see it, but maybe we'll get one tonight. You just never know. Yeah,
anguish on the face of Steve Brown we saw as well there. A couple of players that have already played this week then in this group. We've mentioned them already. So first of all, Adam Smith-Neale, former world master. Up and down really this week.
Yeah, a bit like a Richter scale, you could say. The ups have been pretty up. He started with a ton-plus average earlier in the week, but the lows have been quite low for him, so I think he's got to be consistent over the next couple of nights against some really good opponents. I suppose what we've got to say about Group B is that every single player tonight and for tomorrow night has made a Saturday night appearance, if not picked up a win on a Saturday night over the last 18 months. The strength is there.
And Conor Heneghan, who we mentioned, is going to play in the first match of this session. Might have thought he might not have been here, but he's going to have to pick himself up and do more of this.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there were definite highlights for Conor over the last 3 days. And when you're putting out 145 checkouts, you've got to be thinking that things are going well, but it's not just about the individual moments, it's about what you do in this group over the course of 8 matches, where you'll play 4 tonight, 4 tomorrow. And I suppose, I don't know what you think about this, but the number for me is get to 10 points, get to double digits, and the likelihood is you're going to be safe.
Yeah, so I'm not going to argue with you on that. Conan Whitehead and Johnny Haines also in this group, but the first match is Ryan Furness against Conor Heneghan. And interestingly, every single player, apart from Ryan Furness, every single player in this group has got a win percentage of more than 50% apart from Ryan. So it should be a really hard-fought group, and we look forward to it. We look forward to this first match. It's Heneghan against Furness, and Paul is going to go downstairs and join Henry Deacon to guide you through it.
Evening, Chris. Evening, everyone. May I start off by saying, suits you, sir, suits you. As the famous saying goes, behind every setback is an opportunity. And for Conor Heneghan, who missed out narrowly on qualifying for Saturday's final, gets a second chance of doing it here in Group B. And he is in from the off in this group as he takes on Ryan Furness, a player we've seen regularly in this format. Previously known as the Live League, now of course very much the Super Series, as we see the 23-year-old from Round 4 throwing a 21-gram unicorn dart. The 2015 WDF Europe Cup Boys champion is Hino. I think it's the 28-year-old Ryan Furness from Salisbury in Wiltshire throwing a 20-gram unicorn dart, and a former semi-finalist on the PDC Challenge Tour, an event that we're going to see this weekend up in Leicester. It's a very busy darting weekend altogether, but our full focus here is on a night of the darts here at the MODUS Super Series at the MODUS Live Lounge. And we're going to see 5 top-class performers in this group go toe-to-toe. Alongside these two are Adam Smith-Neale, Conan Whitehead and Johnny Haines. It's 3 from 5 that get through and book their place in Saturday night's final. And booking his place sat next to me for the entirety of the evening is Paul Nicholson. Not often do people get that opportunity, mainly because they reject the opportunity.
Yes, I'm looking forward to this evening. My first evening session here at the MODUS Live Lounge. And I don't know about you, Henry, but I'm really interested to see what kind of mindset Heneghan's got coming into tonight, because he had grand ambitions of not being part of the playing schedule for today and tomorrow. But as far as his opponent is concerned, Ryan Furness, hugely impressed with him over the last year. But is he playing as well as he was maybe 12 months ago? Arguably not.
First leg
Time
is
for a
Conor
new
to
start
throw
and a
first.
new venue for him. Let's
Game
see what he
on.
can do against the very dangerous Heneghan.
Talking about new, we've got a new ref on the stage this evening. Paul Hinks has joined us for the action for the remainder
55.
of the week. We've had some sterling jobs from Owen Binks and Charlie Corsafine over the last couple of days. Now we have the famous strains of one of the most familiar voices in the
100.
sport.
Let's talk about the career of Ryan Furness up to this point. He's played 117 matches. He's won 56 of them and lost 61. And Murph was talking about the win percentages of the players in this group. In fact,
60.
the only person in this group who has a win percentage in what was the Live League of below 50% is Ryan Furness. That has tumbled
98.
this year. He's got a running average of 87.79, which, funnily enough, is one of the better ones. But I've got a sneaky suspicion this group is going to be really
58.
competitive. I don't think somebody is going to dominate this group. I think we could have 4 or even 5 players jostling for those top 3 positions.
And you mentioned 50%
100.
because it could be so crucial, because you said if someone can win 50% of their games and get onto 10 points, that's probably the mark that you'll need to get through.
Yeah, 50% in this group is 8 points, of course. But if you can
59.
get
Conor Heneghan,
just beyond that to
108.
10, I think 10 is a safe number. The last thing you need tonight is to walk away with nothing or just the 1 win. At worst,
60.
get 2 wins from your 4 games and you've got every chance tomorrow.
We saw last week with Jared Cole, who came out of the evening session on the opening day without a victory, and he put a spurt in
72.
on day
Conor
2, but it was just too
48.
little, too late. And it could be too little, too late for Ryan Furness in this first leg, as Heneghan returns to double 16.
16.
The chance comes and
Brand new
chance
car,
goes, and this would be some way to
152.
open up your night breaker throw and a 1-5-2 out.
It would be Ryan's best finish of his career with us. 146 is his best effort.
100. Conor
And of all of the
Heneghan,
5 players,
32.
that is the lowest. The best coming from Conan Whitehead. He's at a 170.
Game shot on the first leg. Conor
Heneghan
Heneghan.
takes the first leg on his own throw. You could say somewhat predictable stuff. But I just wonder, you know, we saw earlier today
Second leg, Ryan to
Walters
throw first. Game on.
and Shewan, who will occupy the top 2 spots going into Friday's Group C action. We saw a mix of
85.
someone making their debut, someone having a lot of experience previously, and then the players who had played a lot this week. But it seems to me like the fresher players had a better
140.
time of it today. Will that be the case this evening as well, with Whitehead, with Furness and Haines?
Do you think part of it's the emotional part of it? And I think Heneghan's the one we're
140.
exclusively looking at in this case of the players that go into Group C, it's courtesy of a disappointing first 3 days, and they're carrying that over.
60.
And of course, it's a fresh table, but the mindset won't be fresh. Whereas the players that are coming in on the Thursday and Friday, they've got no back catalogue this week in terms of emotions or anything like
58.
that.
I think it's a very fair point, Henry. You look at Furness, who will come into this full of beans, really keen to get at it. But then
85.
Conor, who's played a lot, but has had to deal with the disappointment of not winning the group as well. So you would fancy that Ryan, for example, has got a cleaner slate coming into Thursday's action.
43.
You would assume also that maybe he's not as sharp as Conor. So there's a lot of weighing up to do when it comes to the action on Thursdays and Fridays.
140.
But everybody's got the same opportunities.
Everything levels itself out here at the Super Series.
61. Conor Heneghan 76.
So Heneghan wants 76 then to open up a 2-0 lead with a breaker throw. Tops he wants for it,
56.
but Tops
Ryan
dragged
Heneghan,
just below. That's 1 from
114.
5 now for Heneghan on the doubles. Furness hasn't had a poke at a double yet. He could do if he can get a treble with the first dart. Single 14 with the second. And can he get the tops with the third?
94.
No, he
Conor
can't.
Heneghan 20.
Somewhat fortunate to get a shot at tops. He almost missed a single number. Double 5.
Game shot on the
That
second
is
leg.
a really buoyant
Conor
start from
Heneghan.
Conor Heneghan. Not his biggest average by any stretch. A bit of a slow start from a quality perspective, but you don't see Conor
let Conor to
Heneghan
throw
scoffing
first.
at this,
Game
that's
on.
for sure. But I've just had one of our esteemed colleagues in my ear telling me that on Tuesday
100.
night, even after playing 5 games on Tuesday in Group A, Conor Heneghan just couldn't get enough. He's a bit like a Depeche Mode song. He went to a competition pretty close to here,
171.
and he happened to play Ryan Furness in the final, and he beat Ryan Furness on Tuesday. So, is this a good sign for Conor?
44.
Can't stop winning wherever he goes, Conor Heneghan at the minute. He's a winning machine across all darting formats. And I just wonder how important the first game is tonight for
85.
Conor, because he would have been reeling on the fact that perhaps he should have qualified for Group A, didn't qualify for Group A, and he's had a long time to think about it. But perhaps if he lost his
134.
first game, of course he still can lose this first game of the night, whether those thoughts will just multiply in his mind.
140.
I think it'll be good for him to get that first win immediately so that he doesn't have the same sort of start as he did yesterday on Wednesday. Because losing your first couple,
85.
really put him
Ryan
behind the
Heneghan
eight ball.
105.
105 for Ryan. Let's
39.
see what
Conor
Heneghan can do after
138.
a somewhat suspect visit there from Salisbury's finest.
98.
That's a
Ryan
really good
Heneghan
approach.
66.
Furness is in trouble if he doesn't take this 66. What a lovely dart that is.
Game shot on the
What a
third
lovely
leg.
finish that
Ryan
is.
Furness.
Exactly what he required. He takes his average up towards the 85 mark. That was a much better leg in 14 darts. And the break back comes exactly when Ryan Furness
Off
needed
leg
it.
Ryan to throw first. Game on.
And you felt after the first couple of legs, it just needed someone to put their foot down, go through the gears, and maybe that's what Ryan
60.
Furness did in that last leg. And if there was one phrase to describe that finish, it'd be clean as a whistle.
Are you up on the
57.
origins of sayings, Henry? Because I've heard that saying so many times, but I don't know where it comes from. Is it because whistles are really clean when they're made? I've got no idea.
94.
I've no idea. We need Susie Dent in a guest comms gig here.
That would be interesting.
140.
Probably wouldn't understand half of it.
You never know. She might be a furious darts fan.
I mean, us understanding what these 14th century
100.
phrases.
Oh, we've got no problem with that. We're educated bunch, us.
The University of Life, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about you, but
40.
I was the University of Life. I think you and Murph are a bit more educated than I am.
I learnt a lot at Freshers Week.
98.
Is this a bit of a fight back coming from the man from Salisbury? Really happy to see that Conor's not wearing that shocker of a polo shirt from yesterday.
Not one we'd find you wearing on a golf
58.
day.
Round
No,
your car,
I'd wear something
149.
even more garish. Great first start. Treble 19 needed. Just checking himself. I'm sure he maybe got caught in two minds there.
97.
Sometimes when you haven't played competitive stuff in front of the cameras for a while, you can just forget some of your common practices.
56. Round your car,
But
52.
Furness, after being 2-0 down, has now got a couple of darts at tops. And double
Game
10
shot on
is
the
found
fourth
for
leg.
2-2.
Ryan Furness.
So what could have been a real stroll in the park for Conor Heneghan has now turned into a bit of a battle.
And with the best of 7-leg format we get here
This
at
leg,
the
Conor
Super
to throw
Series,
first. Game on.
you're always in the game, no matter what happens. You can go 2-0 up, always be pegged back,
55.
and then you're in a race for the line compared to the long haul distance games we see where you can really take your stall out quickly and the game is perhaps beyond your opponent at the first break.
You were chatting with
96.
the guys in the studio at Sporty Stuff TV a little bit earlier tonight, weren't you, Henry? What were your picks for this evening?
My picks for tonight was as follows.
90.
I say, getting everything out on my notepad. So tonight I went Conor Heneghan to win this game 4-1. So that's not going to happen.
135.
That's a good start.
No, not that I was putting you on the spot there, because I didn't actually know what your picks were.
As you can see, all the best expertise here at the Super Series. I've got
100.
Conan Whitehead to beat Adam Smith-Neale at 11-10. And then him to hit over 1.5180s against Johnny Haines at 6-5. And I've gone for a group
105.
outright here. And I've gone Adam Smith-Neale at 3-1. I just think there's a nice value there.
Interesting. Just remember, everybody, if you are choosing to have a flutter on any of those or other things,
30.
it's for over 18s only. Please gamble responsibly and begambleaware.org for more information on that. Furness leaves the 165, but in this position you can't really criticise because Heneghan seems to have unlaced his scoring boots and
125.
thrown them away.
Last few legs, he seemed to be a score behind at every juncture. And it's given Ryan
95,
Furness, who's
Raniel
on tops after
40.
12, the opportunity to break, to open up a 3-2 lead,
Game shot on the fifth
and to put
leg.
himself
Ryan
one away
Furness.
from the finishing line in our opening game of the evening session. And Conor Heneghan, who was so close to qualifying through Group A, 2 finals night on
Looks like
Saturday,
Ryan to throw
was
first.
2-0
Game
up in
on.
this game, and he's facing more adversity here at the Super Series.
Let's talk about Conor's first 3 days then. And the
100.
stats that he was delivering compared to what we're seeing now. He played 15 matches, he got 20 points. That is a really good total. And considering 20
45.
points was enough last week to win Group A, he could consider himself the tiniest bit unfortunate. His best average, 95.47.
100.
A running average of 88.71. And if you compare that to what he's doing now, he's more than 10 behind that. This is a massive drop in form.
134.
And he's going to have to do what Ryan's done already in this match and fight back. 18 maximums from Conor Heneghan, 5 less than Andy Hamilton, who
100.
got 23 in the end. And his checkouts are at 37%, which is more than adequate. But the fact of the matter is, Hamilton beat him on most
70.
of the departments that you need to boss if you're going to win a Group A.
One advantage for Conor here, it's 3 from 5. So even if you lose the opening game, okay, there's less
58.
matches, but there's more opportunities to progress. But what you don't want to do is then lose the next one, and then you definitely are playing catch-up. Well, he's playing catch-up in this leg, and so subsequently the match, because Ryan Furness is going to come back for 1-4-3 to seal it,
39.
and that's
Raniel
unlucky.
Ricard,
That went in the treble bed and came back out
143.
again, and it's given Furness 6 for the game.
Doesn't need to stay there. He needs to go left. That
111.
would have been one of his best finishes in his career with us. But all things said and done, he didn't take the 1-4-3, but You would take the leave of 32 from that position, especially when Conor is only on
100.
2-1-3.
Brand new acquire 32.
He senses the match is over. Is it?
Game
Yes,
shot and the match.
it is.
Ryan Furness.
And it is an opening victory for Ryan Furness to kick off Group B here at the Super Series. An average above 90, 3-1-40 pluses. But it's the checkout department that was the difference between these two in that one. 57% for Furness, 25 for Heneghan. And it is Furness who gets his campaign off with some finesse and some style. He beats Conor Heneghan by 4 legs to 2.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series here at the MODUS Live Lounge, and we've just seen a fantastic performance from Ryan Furness in his opener. After dropping the first couple of legs against Conor Heneghan, he came roaring back, winning 4 under spin to take that opening victory, despite what Henry Deacon predicted. And we move on to the second match of the 10 that will bring you live this evening here on Sporty Stuff TV. It is Adam Smith-Neale, the former world master who finished third in Group A earlier this week, taking on Conan Whitehead, former PDC Tour card holder as well, incoming this week and looking to book his place in finals night on Saturday. And don't forget, you could be here as well. Tickets are available for free via dartshop.tv to book your place down there at finals night on Saturday. Let's get game 2 underway with Paul Hinkshaw, referee, and Paul Nicholson alongside Henry in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Chris. Adam Smith-Neale against Conan Whitehead, our second game of the evening, and this could be lively. These two will give it some. Now, you'll know how they feel throughout this game. They'll give some emotion on the big shots. And it'll also give us some quality darts. Adam Smith-Neale, the former World Masters champion. That's now nearly 4 years ago. It feels like yesterday when he won that against Conan Whitehead, who at that time was strutting his stuff very much so in the BDO, former quarter-finalist at the Lakeside World Championships there. I feel like in 2022, he's just trying to find that little bit of renaissance after a tough couple of years for players outside the PDC circuit. See no action for about 18 months, apart from stuff in kitchens and dining rooms and things like that. As you can see, the Barbarian quarter-finalist in the 2019 BDO World Championship.
Game on.
A tournament that when Adam Smith-Neale played in, he was playing on crutches.
Yeah, well said, Henry. So adamant that he was going to make his Lakeside debut that even a broken limb would not stop him. But here is Conan Whitehead, one of my favourite players to watch
100
anywhere. I'm not ashamed to say that. He throws the dart so beautifully. He's a very passionate individual, but I talked with Conan a little bit earlier this year.
81.
I was surprised that we hadn't seen him play a little bit earlier in 2022, but at the back end of 2021, after having success with us, he decided to take a break. He just said he fell out of love with the game, which was somewhat unexpected. But after taking a constructive break, he's come back, and his first time back with us, he won a weekly title. Now, if you look at what he's done over the last 18 months in what was the Live League, he's won 3 weekly titles. Not many people have done that. That's why Conan Whitehead, for me, comes in as one of the favourites for the next couple of nights.
Conan is one of the returning players. He played early on in this series. He finished third in week 2, a week that Chaz Barstow subsequently won. So we will see him at Champions Week in a few weeks' time. So it is a second chance for Conan to book his place there. He'll be hoping that he'll get a second chance to be able to take out the 78, which he will do. And it will be for a breaker throw as well in the opener against Smith-Neale, who had battles at both ends of the table yesterday. We'll mention that in just a second, because Whitehead here should get a dart at tops, and that should be nicely positioned for him.
58.
That goes just below in the left-hand corner, and so Smith-Neale will return for the 85.
Bullseye.
50.
Didn't really scare any sort of section that would have given him some comfort there. The double 10 is found by Conan to take an early lead. That is a break of throw as well in 16 darts. That's the kind of level that you can maintain throughout a group. The average for a 16 darter is just under 94.
Game on.
The level that Conan possesses when he's playing his best stuff is as good as anybody's. I've seen him average on the Pro Tour over 115, and that's in best of 11. You mentioned second chances, Henry, and one thing we should illustrate is that if players have played a full week earlier in this stage and they don't qualify for Champions Week, if they do indeed get a second chance, it would only be on a Thursday and Friday shot as opposed to a Monday to Friday shot.
Yeah, so you will get a second chance, but you'll only get one opportunity, whether that be Group B or Group C. However, the group you're allocated by the powers that be here at the Super Series. And
94.
as the weeks go on, the groups get tougher. And I don't know, I haven't seen the full list for week 9, and we'll reveal it on Saturday night here on Sporty Stuff TV. But if there are some
100.
returning players, my word, they're going to have some fun, because Group A, we will tease you, very badly tease you. It is good, just like that visit.
Adam your car, 124.
Yeah, the next few weeks are going to be really good. I've seen the list for the next 4 weeks. Oh boy. If you don't like the next 4 weeks, you don't like darts. Such a
56.
plethora
Conan
of talent
74.
and names that you will not be able to wait to see. Conan looking to go one better than leg 1 on tops.
34.
Oh, that one came out of the
Adam
cannon,
your
didn't
car,
it?
68.
So Smith-Neale with the opportunity to break back. 2 darts at double 4. Now down for double 2.
Game shot on the second
And
leg.
he has
Adam
had to
Smith-Neale.
rely on that double at times this week. And when he's had to, by and large, he's been up to the task there. But it will be a little bit of a concern that he's having to go down there more often than not. But
Third
gets
leg,
himself
Adam to
back
throw
level
first. Game
on this occasion. And I'm just wondering when the first war of emotion's going to be from this pair. It's been quite subdued so far.
62.
We saw a little bit from Andy Hamilton yesterday when he got his bullseye to win the group. There was a little smattering it a little bit earlier today, and I'm sure there's going to be some more tomorrow.
60.
There's going to be more tension on Friday than probably at any point this week, when people are swept aside and will have a weekend off, or the people who will qualify.
58.
Funnily enough, there is a rather big weekend going on for the amateur game this weekend, and people who
100.
don't qualify for Saturday night here will probably jet up the M1 and go towards Bridlington for the British Open and the British Classic.
Indeed, one of the big events on the WDF calendar. The winner of the British Open will
99.
automatically win an invite to next year's World Championships in the WDF system. There's also a Challenge Tour this weekend as well. So players have got options now that they haven't had
45.
before. And in the past, when the British Open was on, every player would go up there. But knowing the law of the Challenge Tour as well, and all the other events in various systems, players have got choices to make. They can pick and choose
140.
where they want to go.
I'll tell you what's been climbing the ladder, though, of choices. This.
Indeed.
People are starting to prioritise this.
94.
Over
Adam
a
your
lot
car,
of other things.
142.
It's telling you the importance of this whole thing. At times this week, Adam Smith-Neale has had a pop at a 142 by going the 17s route. That is a really good leave from ASN. It's a good recovery as well, considering he had his throw broken in leg 1.
140. Adam your car, 40.
Tops for the second 16 darter of this
Game
match.
shot on the third
That's
leg.
exactly
Adam
what he banks.
Smith-Neale.
Solid would be the appropriate word to describe this from the pair.
The most overused word in sport. I watch a lot of
Like
golf
Conan to throw
interviews,
first. Game on.
and the Americans just love that word. How did you play? Solid. Would you like to say anything else? Yeah, it was solid.
81.
No. Say it even more, it starts to sound like salad. Well, just to tell you a bit of a funny story, actually, because we can talk about this now. When we were playing in Southampton at our
140.
previous studio, the players were instructed to have a certain route of walking back from the dartboard because there was a squeaky floorboard that
168.
they didn't want the players to walk on to put off the opponent. I'm pretty sure that these guys were having a micro conversation about that when they were starting.
137.
As if to say, oh, we don't have to do the pre-rehearsed route now because the squeaky floorboard's gone.
We never got the
60.
sponsorship deal with WD-40, did we?
Not yet. Whitehead's had a really good leg so far, getting under 201 in 9 darts means he's averaging over
95.
100 so far in this leg. In fact, the overall averages in this match are pretty useful. 93 for Conan, 95 for Smith-Neale.
135. Adam your car, 129.
This would be a real heartbreaker. 60 for Bull. Well, you
85.
saw what happened to that one.
Conan your car,
That one just
57.
veered to the right.
So 57 for Whitehead to get ourselves back level in this game. That one drags low, double 10.
47.
Goes the other side.
Adam
And so
York 44.
Smith-Neale, who had to get his final dart off the M27, returns to the board, wanting tops for a break
Game shot on
and
the
a
fourth
3-1
leg.
lead.
Adam Smith-Neale.
And Conan Whitehead can't say he hasn't had the opportunities to level us up at 2 apiece. Smith-Neale takes advantage of his. It's 1 from 5 on the doubles for the Barbarian, but as Paul's
So got him
mentioned,
to
a really
throw
good
first.
contest.
Game on.
Both players averaging 93.
What did you say the odds were for Adam Smith-Neale to win this group? 3 to 1?
100.
Yes.
I suppose that's not looking too bad right now. But you do have to look at his first performance in Group A, which was very, very
100.
useful. Averaged over 100. And you thought at that point Smith-Neale was going to take some stopping, but early portion of Group A was very buoyant for him. But then after that, he
99.
really did start to sink instead of swim. In the end, he was actually quite fortunate to get into Group B.
60.
He had to do some good stuff towards the end of Group A just to get to the evening session.
Steve Brown was right on his coattails yesterday. That was for sure, and was unlucky not to
60.
play tonight. But it was Smith-Neale who took advantage of the opportunity. Of course, you'll see the culmination of Group C tomorrow from 9:30, where Scott Walters
125.
picked up the perfect 10 on day 1.
It was all the 10s, wasn't it, for Scott Walters? 10 points, plus 10 in leg difference. The last
84.
double he hit of the day was 10. He'd be loving getting the perfect 10 tomorrow. There aren't many people who go through Group C undefeated. I can only
56.
ever remember it once.
Adam York
I'm sure it's probably happened more than
158.
that.
Josh Richardson's the one that springs to my mind. Well, we've seen this done this week by Kevin Painter. Can Adam Smith-Neale add to the 158 club?
120.
And double
Conor Heneghan,
19 came into play
160.
again in this group. And this is the highest finish we've seen so far this week.
Yeah, we haven't seen one of those big bullseye outs yet, like a 170 or a 161.
122. Adam
We have
York
seen
38.
multiple 160s taken. Double 19.
Game shot
And Adam
on the match.
Smith-Neale
Adam
takes a
Smith-Neale.
brilliant 4-1 victory after losing the first leg of the contest. After that, he was the better player. 93.8 was his average. His checkouts were excellent at 1 in every 2 shots. Conan can be really buoyed by the fact that he played okay with that just under 93 average, but you sense that when he comes back a little bit later to play against Johnny Haines in match 5, he's going to have to be a little bit better, possibly on his 4th visit. We'll be back shortly with Johnny Haynes' first match of this group. He's up against Conor Heneghan, who lost his first match of the night.
Hi there, welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we've just seen Adam Smith-Neale win his first match of Group B, a 4-1 success against Conan Whitehead. Both players averaging around the 93 mark. Whitehead won the first leg of the match, but Smith-Neale raced away from there, taking the following 4 to pick up a couple of points, joining Ryan Furness in doing that. And it looks like winning the first leg is a bit of a poison chalice, because Conor Heneghan won the first 2 in that opening match of the day. But he's back in action in game 3. He's taking on Johnny Haines. Haines, who actually beat Scott Walters to qualify for the Lakeside World Championship earlier this year. And we saw this afternoon how good Scott Walters can be, winning 5 out of 5 in Group C. Haines went on to play at the WDF World Championship and lost out in the second round to the #1 seed, Brian Roman, in a last leg decider. So it is the Punk against Conor Heneghan, and it is Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon waiting to guide you through the action.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. Conor Heneghan returns to action against Johnny Haines, who, as you rightly mentioned, beat Scott Walters to qualify for the WDF World Championship. And you sense, Paul, out of the 5 players that we've got in this group this evening, he's the one that perhaps we don't know as much about the form line.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, actually. We have seen Johnny Haines before, and he has made Saturday night on a couple of occasions. But I suppose you would have to say, of the 5 players playing this evening, he's the one who has not achieved as much as the other 4. He's been around a long time. He's been playing with the likes of Dennis Smith for years from the Wiltshire area. Chris mentioned
100.
his visit to Lakeside earlier this year. He's got so much experience, but he's one of those, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he's one of those genuine players that you come across countrywide or even around the UK and the world, where maybe he just hasn't written his best story yet. Getting to the Lakeside is great, but does he have a title of note that he can really tell his grandkids
134.
about? Not for me, not yet. But it doesn't mean that it isn't about to come.
And we were both at the Lakeside together, and he ran Brian Roman,
60.
who was #1 seed for that competition, very close in that second round game, and perhaps could have deposed of the Riddler. I know Brian tunes in a lot, so I know he probably doesn't want to hear me say that, but he did run him very, very close indeed.
Well, he took Brian Roman to a point where Brian had to go into overdrive, and
98.
that's a compliment. Good start here from Conor.
Game shot on the
I'm going
first
to rephrase
leg.
that, actually.
Conor Heneghan.
That's an incredible start. 11 darts. He left the stage after his first defeat tonight, a little bit miffed, and I don't blame him. He started well,
Second leg,
and
Conor
almost
to first.
submitted
Game on.
to his opponent in match 1 in Ryan Furness. And if he's got that kind of emotion in this game,
125.
and he can use it constructively, he could catch Johnny Haines cold.
Most definitely. Johnny Haines is the last player of the 5 that we have yet to see in this
100.
Group B this evening. And as Paul mentioned, Conor got off to a good start in the opener, but in the so-called championship legs,
95.
as you would term it in boxing, he was just found wanting a little bit against Ryan Furness, who himself, of course, was a little bit cold, hadn't played so far this week. Well, they did play in a local competition final on Tuesday night.
Johnny Haines hasn't just played at the Lakeside
100.
in a WDF World Championship in 2022, but back 9 years ago, he played in his only PDC World Championship when he was part of the tour.
28.
On that occasion, he lost out to Wes Newton by 3-0.
No shame in that. Wes Newton, that was at a time when he was knocking on Premier League doors, making major finals. Conor Heneghan is knocking on the door here of a 2-0 lead, having broken Haines in the opening
41.
leg.
Conor Heneghan 121.
He's got himself down to 1-2-1 after 12. He's got the 25. He now wants the double 18 to open up a 2-0 lead. And this is turning into an excellent performance from Conor Heneghan. The 11 data in the first leg is backed up by a 15 in the second, and the average is stratospheric, is
Like Johnny to throw first, game on.
115.62. 2 out of 2 on the doubles.
Well, just before that first start of this leg,
100.
there was a difference of 52 in the averages. I haven't seen anything that big for a while.
It could get bigger.
140.
You do sense that this performance from Conor has got a bit of mustard about it. A bit of,
140.
I've just missed a 3-foot putt, and on the next tee, give me the driver. I'm just going to hit it as hard as I can. Look at this.
180.
Sensational.
Inspired. If he had a point
90.
to prove, he is more than proving it here. And credit to Johnny Haines. He's keeping tabs in this leg. There's been a much improved leg from Haines.
95.
86 after 9 for Heneghan to open up a 3-0 lead for the double break. And then he'd have the darts to till a 4-0 win. He's averaging at the minute 121.46.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I've said for quite a long time now that I want someone to break that 120 mark. Well, he does have a chance of doing that, but right now he is on a record. Since we started Lively Darts in early 2021, it was the very first week where we had Jason Askew put in a 118 plus average. On a few occasions since then, somebody has troubled that record but not been able to beat it.
140.
What I can tell you is if Conor Heneghan finds a 12 darter or better, that record will be broken.
85.
Perhaps the oldest record we have here in this format. And it could be decimated in a matter of moments.
85.
Made it difficult for himself from 276. I get the feeling he might need a maximum here to leave 96. It's not going to happen. Not in this leg.
45.
Let's have a little look at what his personal best is. Off the top of my head, I think it's 109.31.
100.
So this kind of performance is not alien to him at all. Oh, there he goes.
180.
Just when Johnny Haines thought, oh, he may be able to give me a couple of shots to get rid of this leg. Heneghan is on the cusp of his best ever performance with us.
To seal a superb victory.
Game
And it does not get much better than that. Conor Heneghan, 4 out of 4 on the doubles, a 1-2-1 checkout, and an average of 115.62. It's that good. I'm going to say it again. 115.62. Lay that down as a marker. Lay that down as a declaration of intent in this group. It is as good as it gets for Conor Heneghan as he beats Johnny Haines by 4-0. Follow that, Furness and Smith-Neale. Follow that.
Wow, welcome back to the action here at the MODUS Super Series after witnessing a very special performance before the break from Conor Heneghan. His best ever performance, 115.62 the average. He went 11, 15, 12, 14 to defeat Johnny Haines with a whitewash win. Not only his personal best, but the 5th highest average we've ever seen in this tournament and the highest we've seen since we moved to this brand new venue. So a big performance on the big stage for Conor Heneghan, and Henry was right to lay down the gauntlet to this pair of players, Adam Smith-Neale and Ryan Furness. Can they follow it? Well, it's a personal best of 106 for Furness and 109 for Smith-Neale in this event, so they'll have to do better than they have before to match or even better Conor. If they do, what a night we're in for. Well, it's back to Paul and Henry. Henry, have you got your breath back yet?
Just about, Chris, just about. I suppose it's a bit like that Enrique Iglesias song, I Can Be Your Hino Baby.
Oh boy. You guys were made for each other, you and Murph. The amount of puns that I'm putting up with this week.
I feel sorry for the viewers next week. We're sat together Monday to Wednesday.
You've been warned. You've been warned. 52 darts for that last game. 52?
That's my regular leg.
Try and compute that for just a second. 52 darts to win 4 legs of darts against a world-class player like Johnny Haines.
First leg is Ryan
That's a
to
proper
through
performance.
first.
Well done, Conor. Well deserved.
Game on.
But let's move on. It's match 4. It's Ryan Furness and Adam Smith-Neale, and one of these guys is going to go to 4 points.
Indeed they are. Heneghan may have laid down the marker, but one of these two will be the pace setters
93.
for the end of 4 games. Adam Smith-Neale, who we said at 3-1, could be good fancy to get out of this Group B. Beat Conan Whitehead by 4 legs to 1
87.
in his opening game. Was for Ryan Furness, he beat Heneghan by 4 legs to 2 in the opening match of the night. Who can follow up that opening victory,
86.
double their points tally, and become the man to beat?
Come on, I'm going to put you on the spot now, Henry. Who do you think is going to come through this group? Which 3?
140.
Good question. I think Smith-Neale. I just think his consistency will get him something in the top 3. I think Conan Whitehead, again, for the same reason. I think his consistency will
100.
get himself through the top 3. And then I think the 3rd spot, I think, will go between Heneghan and Furness. And based on what
85.
we've seen over the last couple of minutes, if Heneghan can, well, not at 115 level, but play at a consistent enough level, you'd expect him to go for it. If he plays over his first 2-day statistics, he should do enough.
100.
If we could just take one opportunity to illustrate the disparity in the 2 averages that Conor has done tonight.
59.
It
Randy
will paint
McCall,
one heck of a picture.
122.
We'll come back to that at the start of the next leg, because Furness is looking for 4 18s in bull. There are the 4 18s.
92.
Fails on the bull,
Adam
but does
McCall,
Smith-Neale get a shot
130.
at that bullseye?
We're about to find out. Well, that's a perfectly pitched first dart, but he couldn't follow it into
90.
the treble, which he would have then
Ryan
subsequently
Newcastle,
got the
30.
bullseye for. So Ryan Furness returns for double 15 after 15
Game
to
shown on the
take
first
the
leg.
opening
Ryan
leg with
Furness.
throw against Adam Smith-Neale. And so the perfect start for the man from Salisbury. I suppose it's quite fitting we got a man from Salisbury in the church here in
Like Adam to
Portsmouth.
throw
Was it
first. Game on.
12,000 foot spire, was it they said?
I'm going to have to take your word on that one.
180.
There's definitely a climbing standard tonight, isn't there? We've talked a little bit this week about how dart players prefer to play at night.
122.
That point has been proven. But just to illustrate the disparity between the 2 averages from Heneghan tonight, 36.89, the difference between the 2 averages. That's amazing.
That's from B team in your
44.
county kind of averages to world class.
Yes, it is. That's a really good way of putting it, because if you put it into 1 dart sort of ways,
42.
78 average is what, 26 a dart? 115 is That's getting near 39.
41.
Anyway, we've talked about Conor enough. Let's talk about these guys. Furness, who started his night with a 4-2 win against Heneghan. That's been made to look pretty good already.
100.
But Furness was pretty useful. Averaged over 90 in that game, 57% on doubles. And we talked about Johnny Haines being a bit of an under-the-radar kind of guy.
140. Adam Newcar, 120.
But I have to be honest, I wasn't really talking about Ryan Furness coming into tonight. We've got to start talking about him now.
Just always finds a way to do something good.
56.
May not always qualify for the
Manuel
finals on
Carr,
Saturday, may not always
154.
qualify for Champions Week. But he always plays well, despite the outcome at the end of how long he is here. Well, the outcome here for Furness could
92. Adam
be the fact
Newcar,
that
64.
he may lose the break that he obtained in the opening leg because Smith-Neale's back for 64, and he now stares down the double 8, now double 4,
60.
and that goes inside. He's
Manuel
had
Carr,
problems
62.
with those two doubles so far this evening, and so Furness will return for the 62 for the 2-0 lead.
Double 16.
30. Adam Newcar, 4.
Great chance that was. Smith-Neale has found double 2 already tonight.
Game shot in the
He
second
leaves
leg.
with the
Adam
madhouse
Smith-Neale.
closed in leg 2. Beautifully done. But you have to say that 21 darts for that leg comes as a bit of a surprise. I thought this one would be littered with
Leg round to
quality,
throw
but
first. Game on.
sometimes good matches have 1 or 2 dodgy legs.
And I suppose it's a case of after that rip-roaring performance, it's following the Lord
100.
Mayor's show, and that is quite difficult.
If you think about a sprinter in athletics, if they set themselves a personal best,
81.
if you ask them to run again in about 20 minutes' time, they're not going to do the same. There are going to be fluctuations in performance.
100.
And every now and again, as a dart player, this is something I can attest to. You find yourself in that bubble of you're not thinking at all, you're just doing.
45.
That's exactly where Conor was. That's where these guys have been. Murph has already mentioned the personal best averages of Ryan Furness
58.
and Adam Smith-Neale. They've both gone over the 105 mark before. But when you get yourself in that bubble of no thought and just hitting
59.
what you see, oh, it's a great place. Great place. I've been very fortunate to break 120 on a couple of occasions. They are great times. And you don't remember a great deal about the games that you play because you're too busy just getting
60.
it done.
The adrenaline just courses so much through. It's almost like a drug, isn't it, into the system where you don't remember anything from it, but you just know you had this
140.
high, this big high. And I suppose for Conor Heneghan, he's going to then have that come down as a consequence of it, and then it's getting himself to an even kilter when he takes on
140.
Adam Smith-Neale in match 6.
This is the thing about this format. You are going to have adrenaline spikes, and you've got to maintain
100.
some sort of consistency
Manuel
when
Carr,
your
43.
adrenaline and the other hormones going through your body are just going up and down like a yo-yo. Double 10.
33.
Bit of a yo-yo shot.
Adam
That.
Newcar,
Down,
76.
up, to the side. This one, up, to the side. The other side.
Game shot in the
And
third
finally, he
leg.
finds
Adam
double
Smith-Neale.
4. So this time, it's Smith-Neale who takes a 2-1 lead after being 1-0 down.
Sounded like the cha-cha slide for a second there.
If you're going to listen
Also
to
got
that
him to
kind
throw
of
first.
crud,
Game on.
I'm going to ask you to leave.
Shall I slide to the left?
I'm
100.
gonna plead the fifth now.
Importantly, though, Smith-Neale is 2-up with a breaker throw in the bank.
40.
And now with the throw after Furness opening up with just a 40 has the opportunity to make huge inroads and open up a 2-leg advantage.
140.
I wonder what Smith-Neale's mindset would have been going into today, because as we mentioned, there was 2 scenarios for him. He could have topped the group. He could have finished 4th as Furness piles in his first max of the match. How do you think he would have gone into it? Because he then had to fight to keep himself in that top 3 and only just managed to do so, having had
72.
lofty aims of winning the group.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. But I suppose overall, when you think about the fact that he almost lost his spot in this group,
140.
never mind trying to win Group A as a group anyway, I think he'll have come into this with a pretty even mindset.
96.
I think
Ranu
Steve
Akbar,
Brown had a lot more on his
141.
mind coming into Thursday than Adam Smith-Neale for sure. What a lovely first start. What a great second.
129.
He's had chances in this
Ranu
game,
Akbar,
hasn't he?
93.
He's had 6 starts at double, only hit 1 of them. Smith-Neale needs to resuscitate this one, and he is not able to find the paddles.
23. Ranu Akbar,
This could
12.
be the turning point. I'm not sure Furness may have expected to come back here. I
Game
think he would have
shown the
expected
fourth leg.
Smith-Neale to
Ryan
have one at
Furness.
double. He didn't, and so Furness mops up the double 6 for a 13-dart leg, and we are back level here at 2 apiece when Smith-Neale was in an ideal position to
Just like
open up a
Ryan to go
2-leg
first.
buffer.
Game
But
on.
as we have it, we're back on foe, and that favours Furness to the ground.
Consistency personified tonight is Ryan Furness, hovering
60.
around that 90 average the whole time. That was good enough for Andy Hamilton to win Group A. He was the only person to average for the entire group
81.
over 90. And I suppose we do look at that as the benchmark in these Super Series groups, because if you're over 90,
60.
the majority of the time you're going to be troubling the top spots. Only every now and again do you average higher than that and you fail. I remember when Graham
59.
Hall first came to us about it, I think it was a few months ago, and he averaged, what was it, 94, 95 for his games and still didn't get through. It was a
140.
ridiculous anomaly. And we all said at the time, if he continues to play like that, he's got to do something. What happened next?
98.
He went and won himself a week, and he will be in Champions Week, and he will be one of the favourites.
I remember that Thursday night. Was it James Richardson went
66.
pointless despite having a running average of 98?
Yeah, that rings true. That'll make you scratch your noggin.
51.
Sure, James wanted reminding of that one.
He'll be watching as well. Sorry, James.
Well, Smith-Neale won't be watching the darts. He's one of those players that doesn't like to look at the odd key.
125.
He won't want to see what happened there because Furness has left himself on 50 after 15. All Smith-Neale can do now is apply pressure, and applying pressure he is.
140. Ranu Akbar, 50.
Double top.
Game
Well
shot on the
found.
fifth leg. Ryan
Great shot
Furness.
from Ryan. This is a great tussle. It's had lots of ups and downs this game. And I have no idea still who's going to win this match because Smith-Neale
Six
retains
leg
the
Adam
throw
to
in
throw
leg
first.
6.
Game on.
We haven't gone the distance so far. In fact, it's the only result we haven't had tonight. We've had a 4-0, a 4-1, a 4-2.
100.
Is a 7th leg imminent for the first time on Thursday night?
And isn't this what makes darts so encapsulating? We've had the brilliant average from Conor Heneghan, but this is a different type of battle. The
140.
average is a 90 at 83, but in some ways it's just as enthralling as that 115 because there is
60.
ebbs and flows and you don't know the outcome. Anything can happen.
No match is the same as anything we've seen before. Each match is like a fingerprint.
180.
Oh, hold on a minute though. Second maximum of the match for Ryan. And he's found 5
82.
treble 20s with his first 6 darts of this leg. This is a sprint to the finish potentially. He's not stopping at all. 61 left. And Smith-Neale is way back. We could have our
145.
first 10 darter of the week.
Indeed we might. Ryan Furness has put on the afterburners at the perfect
59.
time.
Ranu Akbar, 36.
All he has to do is cross the finishing
Game shot
line
and the match,
with the
Ryan
double
Furness.
18 for the first 10 darter of the week. What a sprint to the line it was for Ryan Furness to seal a 4-2 victory over Adam Smith-Neale. It puts him on 4 points in the group, and even at this early juncture puts him in a great position to finish inside the top 3 places, which will secure his place in Saturday night's final, hitting 2 maximums, 4 from 10 on the checkouts, the high out of 50 for Adam Smith-Neale, having won the first game. He follows that up with defeat. We'll see him in a couple of games' time against Conor Heneghan. But after the break, it's Conan Whitehead in action as he takes on Johnny Haines.
Well, it's been a fantastic night so far on this Thursday evening at the MODUS Super Series. First of all, Conor Heneghan producing that 115-plus average, the best we've had here in this new venue. And then Ryan Furness finishing off his win over Adam Smith-Neale with a 10-darter. Brilliant leg of darts, and it ended up at a 95.61 average, dwarfed by the average of 20 points higher by Heneghan in the previous match, but still a solid performance all the same, and it means that Ryan Furness is top of the early table, having won both of his first 2 matches. 2 points ahead of Heneghan, who's also played 2, as has Adam Smith-Neale, who beat Conan Whitehead earlier tonight. Whitehead in action next against Johnny Haines. Both players looking for their first points of the evening. And Conan Whitehead had a bit of trouble getting here, I believe. His train was cancelled. It took him 5 hours to get from Dartford to the darts. Let's see if he can get back on track with a victory in his first match tonight. Over to Paul and Henry.
Well, no delays here in the commentary box. Well, Conan Whitehead has found his destination here at the MODUS Live Lounge. Will he find his first victory of the group against Johnny Haines, who's also searching for that, having lost 4-0 against Conor Heneghan in his first game of the group. So after this match, 4 of the 5 players would have picked up points in Group B. We see the 36-year-old Conan Whitehead from Rainham in Kent, 2019 BDO World Championship qualifiers, nicknamed the Barbarian, up against Johnny Haines, as he mentioned, experienced campaigner, now 58 from Swindon is the Punk, and made the PDC World Championship back in 2013.
Game on.
Suppose it's an appropriate name for a place, isn't it? Dartford, if you're a dartist.
Suppose it is. Are there any other places
One
with the word dart in it?
I don't think so. But here's a teaser for you. Who's Dartford's famous assistant manager, the football team?
100.
That's way over my head, Henry. Ask me another one. Ask Conan another one. Oh, well, every time somebody
100.
starts a leg with a 180 today, we're thinking that they can go the same way as Steve Brown, who very nearly hit the perfect leg earlier on today. We're inching closer to the midnight hour, and we're not that far away from the halfway point of tonight's action already, thanks to some sensational action from this group.
You said that sometimes the evening sessions
100.
really can catch fire, and this is kind of the peak time for a darts player to perform. They're used to playing in the evenings, whether it's at Opens, whether it's in Super League, whether it's at County. This is their terrain, and this could be Whitehead's terrain around these mid-level finishes. You can set it up with Haines back on
97.
2-2-1 after 9. So leaves himself double 12 after 12, as good a start as it could possibly be for the Barbarian.
Yeah, we're talking about a nickname that he was probably born with. When you name someone Conan and they're a dart player, a nickname just follows, doesn't it? Double 3, got to go for it.
18.
With Haines lurking on 121, this would be a pinch and a half. And it would leave Conan feeling very salty.
57. Conan requires 6.
I'm going to talk about Johnny's darts in the next leg, because
Game shot on the first leg. Conan
what a
Whitehead.
creation they are. We're talking about 2 very individual barrels that these 2 players are using, but that is a good start from Conan. 16 darts it is.
Something like Johnny to throw first.
Johnny the
Game
Punk
on.
starting this leg here. Look at the creation of those things. They're old
60.
school. They've got a scallop in them. They've got bottom heavy grip. They've got chalk all over them. There's not many people who use those things.
Very old school, but we like a bit of old school here at the Super Series.
Have you noticed Johnny's left arm
95.
as well? And how many charity bands he's got on there? Easily 6 or 7. More charity bands than Live Aid.
$85.
A big supporter of the prostate cancer campaign, which I know a lot of darts federations do support, and an important message on his shirt as well.
Yeah, it's so important. I feel
85.
rather uncomfortable saying it. How about check the back of Johnny's shirt?
I was wondering where you were going there.
60.
Oh, Conan's shirt is because he's a big fan of playing in black and white. Something to do with his wedding, actually. Because he was all in black and white at his
100.
wedding. But I do believe he's recently become a father. So many congratulations to him and his partner. These He's a big Gillingham fan.
85. Johnny McCarr,
Only Football League
161.
club in Kent.
That's probably why then.
$137.
Well, that's an excellent setup for Johnny Haines to leave double 12. Conan had some troubles on the doubles in the first leg, having left that.
97. Johnny McCarr, 24.
Had to go all the way down for double 3, but Haines will be hoping it's a clean kill because Whitehead's back on 74. Over to double 6.
Game shown in the
just sneaks
second
its
leg.
way
Johnny
in.
Haynes.
It's one of those darts where you don't know whether it's actually going to be friend or foe when it lands close to the wire, depending on how the flight stacks up. But Haines gets us level at one apiece. It's Whitehead with the throw in the third. And you look at most of the departments, there's not really much splitting them.
We've actually got 2 punks on stage. I don't know whether you've noticed this.
140.
Well, there's one there in Johnny Haynes, but Conan Whitehead is actually using some points called punk points.
58.
The reason he's using these points is because they have a little bit of a traditional nature to them towards the top. They're quite shiny, but at the end, they're filed off.
140.
And they've got this somewhat, not a rough texture, but a somewhat uneven surface. It's not one of those ridiculously aggressive points that we've seen from some other players.
100.
What you are seeing from Johnny Haynes is that his darts have now got dandruff. He has had a fresh application of chalk, and they've gone from gunmetal
100.
colour to white.
There might be dandruff, but Conan Whitehead is head and shoulders ahead in this leg.
Look at those darts there. The only other player I've seen who uses that much chalk on his barrels is Keith Deller.
So much chalk that the head teacher wants it back.
57.
But Conan Whitehead leaves himself on 64 after 12. Haines, as you mentioned, is way back in this leg. It has been again dominated by the player phone first in legs.
You're probably
45.
a bit young, Henry.
Conor Heneghan,
Back
64.
in my day when we were at school, if you did something wrong, you'd get the chalkboard rubber thrown at you. Wouldn't get away with that these days, would you?
Regular occurrence for you?
Just the once.
We'll be
44.
hoping Whitehead there to hit the tops just once because it would have given him the third leg. But he does have a bit of time. Haines back at 198. So all he can do here is apply pressure. Well, he's going to apply some.
100.
So Whitehead will
Conor Heneghan,
return
20.
for the double 10 to give him a 2-1 lead.
Game
And
shown
there
in the
it
third
is.
leg. Conan Whitehead.
Nice clean double for Conan Whitehead, and he leads us 2-1 in this game.
Do you know which double is Conan's favourite? Double 18.
Fourth leg, Johnny
Loves
to
it.
third first. Game on.
Absolutely loves it. And when he's on song, he very rarely misses it. But by my recognition, I just don't think he's left it once tonight. You get days like that. As a dart player, you might play 4 or 5 matches when you come here, and you might find yourself leaving tops a lot or double 10, like he has so far this evening. But I haven't seen him in the bottom left corner a lot, or indeed the top right corner. It seems
60.
as if the legs are telling him that he's going to be on tops an awful lot tonight.
And it all depends on the leaves he gets. Well, he's going to leave this leg very handy with his second max of the match, and the average now approaching just underneath the ton. We were talking and praising about the standards so far tonight. Conan Whitehead has brought his levels up from the first game, and that was a 92.96 against Adam Smith-Neale.
Everybody's playing their best darts against Johnny Haynes.
60.
He hasn't done anything wrong, I assure you. It's a compliment to Johnny that they're having to play that way. Well, there's a little bit of a right hook shot there
121.
from the man in the mustard and brown shirt. The 1-2-1's not going to go. That was a perfectly timed maximum from Haines just to transform this leg, to give himself a look at the 61
41.
to draw level at 2-2.
Johnny McCarr, 61.
Because Conan Whitehead has been well clear the last few legs. Johnny Haines has had to weather the storm and weather it nicely and brings us back level at 2 apiece. When given the opportunity, he has taken full advantage of it in this game. Conan Whitehead looked as if he was going to open up a 2-leg lead, but credit to the punk who brings us back to 2 apiece. And we can't talk about punks without mentioning Friday Night Dinner, because the famous character Mr. Morris passed yesterday. And do you know what it's all about?
Tell me.
Punk rock.
I once met Stuart Pearce, the famous left back for England and Nottingham Forest and a few other clubs. He's heavily into punk music. It's probably his specialised subject.
100.
Everybody knows that my love for pro wrestling, the most famous punk arguably in the world, is a Chicago-made punk.
140.
I suppose if you want to go a little bit further with Johnny Haines, you'd call him SM punk, Swindon-made punk.
58.
Any punks in The Simpsons?
I suppose you would classify the criminal.
60.
What's he called? The guy who has the red car until he goes to prison. I'll come back to you on that one.
I can't believe I've stumped the asset on a Simpsons question.
99.
Give me time, give me time. I know that the car was Little Bandit, but he was a British guy who used to rob the Quickie Mart the whole time. I've forgotten his name.
60.
He was called Snake. I'm not going to try and do his accent. I'm not that good. But Johnny Haines has been pretty good last couple of legs.
140.
But look at that.
Johnny O'Carr, 141.
Maximum pressure put on Haines to get this shot. This is a great game.
Both players are applying maximum pressure on each other, and in
60.
turn
Conor O'Carr,
are forcing to
44.
play their best stuff at the big moments. And this is a big moment, a huge moment for Conan Whitehead, who only has 1 dart left at double 16,
12.
and it doesn't go.
Johnny O'Carr,
And so Johnny
81.
Haines now has the opportunity to get a break of throw. If he can obtain it, he will throw for the match. How quickly these games can swing, because in one point, Conan Whitehead looked as if he was running away with it.
41.
And he almost found
Conor
himself
O'Carr,
behind.
32.
He sacrificed a shot with dart 1 to try and get a shot at the outer ring, guaranteed. It didn't work
Game
out.
shot on the 5th leg.
As a
Conor
consequence,
Whitehead.
it's Whitehead who takes the lead. And in the words of Snake from The Simpsons, all right. Yes, welcome to Late Night
6 leg
Entertainment
Johnny
on
to
Sporty
throw
Stuff
first.
TV.
Game on.
We love darts. We love entertainment. And right now, we're loving this game.
Indeed
100.
we are. We've seen all sorts of battles this evening. We've seen the brilliance of Conor Heneghan in that 4-0 victory against Johnny Haines. But over the last couple of games, we've seen matches that
81.
ebbed and flowed. We've had different storylines and different narratives. And you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's what we love about live sports.
83.
It only happens once. Isn't that how it's going these days, live sport? That's how it's being branded.
140.
Well, one thing we have this week is a predominant amount of English dart players. Just to send you a little teaser
100.
over the next 4 weeks, because you've got week 9, 10, 11, and 12 before we go to Champions Week. It's in mid-October. There's a few more players from
140.
outside of England coming. And they're good.
Oh, yes. Might have to rebrand it the International Super Series, especially next week.
81. Conan O'Carr,
Amenities.
140.
Oh, you almost said too much there.
I know
Look
my
at-
limits.
Look at this. Oh, Whitehead was looking at the Rob Cross route for the 140. That's 66. So 60 off leaves 80, and another 6 leaves 74.
80. Johnny
That's a
O'Carr,
nice leave.
137.
He will think he's coming back. Over to you, Johnny. Oh, it's a really good try.
77. Conan
But now
O'Carr,
this is
60.
Whitehead's possibly only chance to win this match right now.
Left side of the top, he was aiming at the clean double 10 bed.
40.
And 2
O'Carr,
opportunities to win the
60.
game are come and gone. And so Johnny Haines will return for the 60. to take us all the way. 2 darts at tops.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
As clean
Johnny
as a whistle,
Haines.
as we said earlier on. And we are going the distance once again. Well, for the first time tonight. We've had some close battles, but it's the first time we've gone all 7 legs this
Seven and final
evening.
leg, Conan
It's
to throw
Conan
first.
Whitehead
Game on.
who has the advantage of throw in the 7th and deciding leg. And he's looking to make some huge
100.
inroads.
Yeah, first time we're going the distance. So we've had every available result tonight after a daytime session which was littered with 4-2s.
140.
I do believe we had 10 4-2 scorelines out of 15 matches. But just to clear up what we were talking about earlier, Henry,
81.
clean as a whistle is actually a saying that began as clear as a whistle, relating to the sound, of course. But it was misused over the years and it became the accepted way of saying it.
180.
Everybody accepts a 180 in a last leg shootout, and Haines is making an enormous sprint in the same
100.
sort of way that Ryan Furness did against Adam Smith-Neale in Game 4. Whitehead, who could have won this by 4 legs to 2, is in all sorts of bother now. Might be another 10 darter to finish a match.
165.
Now, I don't know how clued up you are on fables, but this is the tortoise and the hare. Johnny Haines is just stuck in there, stuck in with the task. And potentially, if he can
100.
get
Johnny
this
O'Connor,
double 8,
16.
will win this match with a 10 darter. Conan Whitehead looks up to the skies. Johnny Haines is staring down the winning double.
Game
And
shot
gets
on
the winning
match.
double.
Johnny Haines.
And Johnny Haines beats Conan Whitehead by 4 legs to 3. And so it is he who gets onto the board and onto 2 points. 4 of our 5 players are now on the mark here in Group B. And that is how Johnny Haines did it with an average of 90.14. 2 maximums apiece in that match. But it was the checkouts that ultimately proved decisive. 4 from 10 for the punk compared to Whitehead's 3 from 11. So then we're going to take a short break. When we return, we're going to see Conor Heneghan for the first time since putting in that monster average, taking on Adam Smith-Neale.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. What a night it's been so far. Halfway through that night, Paul Nicholson has joined me. Paul, fantastic ending to that match from Johnny Haines there, but Conan Whitehead must be feeling a little bit frustrated.
I think that's absolutely the case. If you look at what he's done so far tonight, he's averaged over 90 twice. He's come up with no points. But I suppose you have to take it as a compliment that people are playing some of their best stuff against you. His face, when Johnny Haines hit the 165 to leave 88, was a picture. It was as if to say, why did you go and have to do this against me right now? I had the chance to beat you 4-2. He wasn't able to find the tops or the tens. But Haines just sprinting to the finish like a prize greyhound. Yeah,
both players averaging more than 90. The rest of the night, I mean, we've seen some stunning stuff, haven't we? The Conor Heneghan 115 average, the 10 darter from Ryan Furness. Really good. Probably maybe the best night we've had in this venue so far.
It's not even finished yet, Murph. What could we possibly get in the second half? One half of the action, we've had that best average in this building, so a venue record. And Ryan Furness, the somewhat forgotten talent, the man who had the sub 50% win percentage coming into tonight, and everybody thought maybe he was the one that would be the sacrificial lamb, but anything but undefeated. And he's got 2 more matches to embellish his position in Group B.
Good thing about this group, of course, for the players is that it's 3 from 5 that progress through to finals night. So if we look at the table now, you'll see that, yeah, Furness in a really strong position, but nobody out of it at this stage, and nobody will probably be out of it by the end of the evening.
I suppose when you look at the Group Bs that we've had in the last 18 months, if you are going to have a bad start, you can afford to lose your first 2 as long as you play well from here. But with 6 games to go, you fancy that maybe Conan's going to have to win at least 4 matches from this point, just to be safe. Win 5 from 6. But the other guys have got a better start, and they've got a bit more room for error. But everybody's still in it.
And Adam Smith-Neale and Conor Heneghan certainly are. One of them will join Furness, at least temporarily, on 4 points at the top of the table. So let's give them the opportunity to do that. And Paul is going to go back downstairs to join Henry.
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, these two did battle in Group A over Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. But it's Group B action for them on Thursday and Friday, and hopefully they'll be back on Saturday and they may chill on Sunday. Adam Smith-Neale against Conor Heneghan is our 6th game of the evening, and how quickly has it gone by? Such has been the quality hours we've seen this evening. The 23-year-old Conor Heneghan from round 4 in the Republic of Ireland for a 21-gram unicorn dart up against Adam Smith-Neale with a 22-gram custom dart. 28 years of age from Nuneaton, the former
First leg is Conor to throw first.
Champ.
Game on.
For Conor Heneghan, it'll be following up that superb performance, the 115.62 against Johnny Haines in that 4-0 victory, and a convincing victory from that. And we mentioned
60.
earlier on about how on the back of a performance like that, how can you follow up when the adrenaline is coursing through your body? You're going to have the natural come down and then go again. We're talking about the adrenaline pumping through. That is exactly what Adam Smith-Neale has done with the opening visit, and with the heart fully pumped following the run down the stairs, Paul Nicholson
57.
has returned to the commentary booth.
I'm getting pretty fit doing this job, Henry. Up and down those stairs like a yo-yo, and I was told as a kid by my parents that that was a bad thing.
94.
Didn't they say staring in front of screens was a bad thing? And look at what we all do now.
Yeah, I'll get square eyes apparently.
125.
Oh, could be worse. I love this job. Get to watch the game that I love, call it in with a bit of passion.
55.
Now and again I might be able to play it.
You tease.
That's what trailers are for, you see, when you go to the
46.
movies. You got to entice the audience. It will be Saturday night where we will reveal
85.
next week's players. You don't want to miss that. And of course you can actually attend the Saturday night finals if you so wish. Go to dartshop.tv
60.
and you can
Adam
get
Your
yourself
car 127.
some tickets which are free of charge as long as there are some left. So get your way down here if you want to see some of these players in action.
55.
Andy Hamilton's already there, so
Conor
you
Your
could
car
see
153.
Andy, former Premier League player and World Championship finalist, as he vies for his first weekly title. Conor Heneghan
Game
Double
shot on the
18
first
and he's at
leg.
it again.
Conor Heneghan.
Somebody's given him a little bit of extra brilliant darts juice, haven't they? Because all of a sudden, he's woken up.
He most certainly has. And
Look
look
at
at the
Gallagher through
celebration
first.
as well
Game on.
after he got the checkout. He is feeling it tonight. And sometimes, as you say, you just find the groove. You find the motion.
140.
But credit to Adam Smith-Neale. He has followed in dart for dart.
Sometimes you just have to say
100.
stop. And what I mean by that is he's maybe been playing a brand of darts this week where he's been internalizing a lot of his frustrations and maybe
45.
some of his celebrations. But now he's willing to let them out. It's working so far. Just keep it going.
84.
Exactly that. But this second leg is up in the offing, a bit like the first before Heneghan made the point with a 153. Incredibly, that was for an 18-dart leg.
58.
At which point do we start calling him Conor Heneghan? Well, if he wins
100.
the group, we'll start calling him that. He does need a better nickname than Hino, though. Everybody take note. You don't just trim your name and stick an O or a Y on the end. Not enough. You need something a bit more creative. At least Adam Smith-Neale's got the big dog. Wherever that came from.
Better than the Hoover that they tried to give me
134.
last
Adam
week here.
Class
Anyway, the
78.
big dog wants the mid-range finish of 78. We'll discuss that in a second. 2 darts there for Adam Smith-Neale at double 12. 1 at double 6 to level us up at 1 apiece,
66.
but it comes and goes.
Conor Heneghan,
And Hino
83.
will return for the 83.
Will there be a reaction after these 3 darts? Double 16.
51.
Oh, that was
Adam
close.
Class 12.
Very, very close to the top left corner of that bed.
Game shot on the second leg.
Smith-Neale
Adam
survived
Smith-Neale.
leg 2. He should have been 2-0 down. So, Henry, who was trying to call you the Hoover?
So we had a poll last week. Needed a
Like Conor
darting
to throw
nickname
first. Game
because
on.
we're not going with personal nicknames. We don't go there. So Matthew Edgar in this commentary box as Conor Heneghan kicks off the third leg with a maximum. Decided the name Hoover. That was the one that stuck. There was a lot of...
But why?
I don't know. The Arch was a
89.
popular opinion.
That makes sense. I like that one.
This would be quite popular. If he can fill it up again.
180.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I can't take the stress. Can someone just hit this 9-darter?
96. Conor
Come on,
Heneghan,
Conor.
141.
It's all yours, Henry.
We know the route. Steve Brown missed it early on today. But Conor
Game shot on the third
Heneghan,
leg.
he's the
Conor
man
Heneghan.
as he hits a 9-dart finish. The first of the MODUS Super Series. And look at the celebration. Look at the joy. It's been an inspired
got
night
him
for
to throw
Conor
first.
Heneghan as he hits a 9-dart finish.
What a night we are having. What a night Conor Heneghan is having. Incredible from the young Irishman. And what a celebration that was.
What a mark of respect from the pair as well. All he needs is a big fish, and he's just completed darts.
Not quite. What he wants is to complete the
60.
week. Now he's got the 9. He's got the massive average, but there is still a lot to do.
99.
Conor's only got 2 points in the table. If he walks away from this game with no points, that 9-darter means very little. But he is continuing
140.
where he left off. Steve Brown was so close to getting the first one in the MODUS
98.
Live Lounge. And then a matter of how many hours? Maybe 12 hours since that attempt.
45.
Heneghan gets the first. Am I right in thinking that he did hit one in the previous venue?
He did. He hit the first one this year. against Thibaut
57.
Tricol in phase 4.
Yeah, he's got 2 this year now. 1 in both venues. The first person to do that. And that is a very
140.
exclusive
Adam
list of
Yokohama,
people who got one in
126.
Southampton.
Is that the first one you've been in the booth for this year at the
42.
Super Series?
Conor Heneghan,
This year,
116.
I was in the booth for Richie Burnett last year, but what is Conor doing on the 116? Is there anything he can't do?
Game shot on the 4th
Wow.
leg. Conor Heneghan.
Incredible stuff. 103.79 the average, and there is nothing that Adam Smith-Neale can do about this. This is masterful.
5th leg, Conor to throw first. Game on.
When you consider he started the match with an 18 darter, he's gone stratospheric since then. And he's getting better.
140.
We mentioned that Graham Usher game against Dan Reed, didn't we? That inspired performance on the Gambler. Well, it took him a couple of legs to get into gear. And for Conor Heneghan, once
43.
again, he's found something inspired. I wonder how many times players have had back-to-back 105-plus averages in this competition.
135.
I can't remember a time.
I think, off the top of my head, it's happened once. Mike Warburton actually put in a 115.62, and his next match, he went really big as well. But this could be even better. Incredible. 3 180s now, and he's above 110 again.
This is incredible from Conor Heneghan. Considering he lost his first game, he has rebounded in perfect style, literally perfect style. An 11 dart leg, 12. What a performance again for Conor Heneghan. March with a perfect 9 dart finish. He is going to take some beating in this Group B. 107.52 off the back of 115.62 in his previous match. 4 from 7 on the doubles. He was 4 from 4 in the previous game, but what's 3 doubles to friends? Fantastic performance from Conor Heneghan. Nothing really Adam Smith-Neale could do. An 88.18 would probably win in most matches in this format, but he'll have to dust himself down, go again, and after the break, Ryan Furness and Conan Whitehead, well, they've got some following to do again.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series. Well, I said to Paul Nicholson before that last match that it might be the best night we've had in this new venue. There's no question about that now. This man here, 115 plus average in his previous match, and then in the last one, he hits a 9-darter. The first man to do it in this venue. Look at your stats in that game as well, 107.52. 153 checkout in there. Just tell us, first of all, how it felt when that double 12 went in for the 9.
In fairness, it was amazing. Like, I let out a massive roar. It's a pity there was no people behind me because it would have actually been better. But look, in fairness, look, thankfully I won the game in the end, because some people, like, if you do it, it just like ruins your game. But thankfully I got over the line as well, because Adam's a great player, and so I'm happy with the win.
I know you were disappointed not to make it straight through from Group A after a really good day on Tuesday. Are you kind of glad you didn't now, because you're the first man to hit a 9-darter on that stage?
It's hard to answer, because I'd still rather be through than having to go through this field of players, like, because everyone here, like, everyone this week can beat everyone. Everyone in this series can beat everyone, so it's just, look, I'm happy to get the win, happy to hit that again, but there's a lot more work to be done. It's not over yet, like, so I'm just happy to get through. Well, not through, but happy to get over that game. One
in the old venue, one here. That's 2 9-darters on TV this year. A certain Gerwyn Price has got 4. Are you trying to catch him?
Oh yeah, I'll catch him yet. And shout out to Gerwyn Price. I hope he's watching. I'll catch him yet for the years out.
There you have it. Well, he's got more chances to do it tonight. So Conor Heneghan, the star of the show so far, with those 2 brilliant performances. After losing his first match, he's bounced back with style. And we're going to move on now to see Ryan Furness take on Conan Whitehead and let Conor get back on the practice board for maybe another perfect leg later. Back to Henry and Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Smurf. That was probably question of the week there, about trying to catch Gerwyn Price's 4 9-darters. And I love the reply there, Henry, from Conor saying, I'll catch him, I'll catch him. Love that confidence. And that confidence has been exuded tonight.
Most definitely. And we said at the start of the evening, how is Conor going to react to the disappointment of yesterday? Well, there's your answer, and then some.
But don't you love his mentality of, I'd much rather have qualified than doing what I needed to do through this field? That shows what kind of motivation that young man has about why he's here and what he wants to do. It's great getting 9-darters. It's great getting big averages. But they are in vain if you do not get the big prize at the end of the week.
Conor Heneghan would trade everything that happens tonight for a place in Champions Week. Absolutely, hands down. Because that is where the big money and the big prizes are. Of course, you want the personal accolades and the personal achievements. But ultimately, in your career, you are judged by the little silver bits you get in your cabinet at the end.
One thing we do have to mention at this juncture is that Conor does not get a bonus for that 9-darter, because the £1,000 bonus, which is running right now for 9-darters, is only applicable in Champions Week. So, sorry, Conor. You're going to have to get there and hit another one.
85.
Don't mind if he does. But Conan Whitehead's in that position again where he's got to follow up something spectacular.
77.
Conor Heneghan.
And just look at his schedule tonight. I actually bumped into Conan maybe 15 minutes ago, and he said, how have I not won tonight? I didn't want to be honest with him and say, well, you did miss 2 match darts against Johnny Haines, but full credit to Johnny, who had that brilliant 12-darter at the end of their match. People have played well against him tonight. Now he's playing against the undefeated Ryan Furness, and he's got Conor Heneghan to come. It's as if he's been thrown into the melting pot, and it's just going to get hotter.
21.
It doesn't get any easier at all. He must have been looking at it and thinking, what now? What next?
I'll tell you what next.
130.
102 left for his opponent after 12 is a sign that Furness is not in the mood to relent.
140.
Well, it's been a night so far, absolutely littered with quality. Are we going to see yet another ton plus out? Very much so now. Picks the route of double 16. Picks his double, gets his double, and that's some way to start. And look at Conan Whitehead's face. He just cannot believe what's going on.
Everybody is playing well against him, and he's wondering why. Trust me, this is not personal.
Like Conan to throw
he's a very popular character. But it really does seem Like everybody's turning up against him. Maybe they know, Henry, that he is
100.
the most prolific winner of weekly titles in this group. He's got 3 in the last 18 months. He could have had more. So maybe they
85.
see him as the benchmark, the person who is the biggest threat.
Most likely and most probably. And of course, Conan has form so far
100.
in this stage, in this phase. He took part in week 2, as we mentioned. Finished 3rd in that week, which was won by Chaz Barstow, who we will see back here in the middle ends of October for the big
40.
check and the big prize.
Yeah, that was a really interesting week, wasn't it? Won by Barstow, over Mike Warburton. Whitehead was 3rd. Jared Cole was 4th.
100.
Scott Walters, who is leading Group C on 10 points, he was 5th that night alongside Paul Hogan.
100.
What a week that was.
It really was a great week. Someone like Ryan Furness, he's on his 2nd chance. He was 4th in week 3.
140.
I'm not going to sing it, but it is now or never.
What, from Bon Jovi? That cost us the Super Series quiz last
85.
night.
Corner car 61.
Yeah, we haven't got a 100% record this week. Only a 50%. Well, it's better than 50%, isn't it?
43.
Oh, it's a big miss. But he will be back. And we've mentioned about certain players today, Henry, and their proclivity to split shots like 18. You just wonder what Whitehead's going to do here
60. Corner
now
car
that
18.
Furness is on a finish.
You sense there's only one MO, and it's this one, to go straight for it. He's getting closer,
9.
but
Manual
further
car
away with the last.
131.
He was getting hot, getting hotter, and then he went cold. And Ryan Furness now on 1-3-1 for a break of throw and a pinch your pocket leg. Isn't going to go this time, but he'll want to get a treble here to become an
57.
interesting
Corner car
party because
9.
Conan is only going to get 2 darts at double, and the double is double 4. Now double 2,
5.
and now it gets
Manual
interesting.
car 74.
Conan has missed 7 darts at double in this match so far.
42.
Ryan Furness has missed
Corner
his first
car
2.
4.
Because in leg 1, he was perfect. 7 visits each. Madhouse.
2. Manual car
That
32.
will not please him at all. That's a bit of an understatement. Furness for an 8 visit. Break of throw. Double 4.
24. Corner you require 2.
Who's going to get it?
And we still go on.
Game
But no
shot on the
longer.
second leg. Conan Whitehead.
Conan Whitehead gets the leg in the end. It's a leg that he should have won. He does win, and he would have been incandescent if he didn't.
Like I mentioned to you earlier,
Third leg round to throw first.
he was
Game
wondering
on.
how he hasn't won a match yet tonight. He's got that incredible grin in the background. Well, maybe his route to victory is to win ugly.
140.
Instead of playing well and showing his opponents what they have to do to beat him, maybe getting involved in a bit of a scrap is the way to go forward.
180.
Well, that's not the way to go, Conan, if that's what you want to do.
Well, for everything good that Conor Heneghan's done tonight,
92.
2 points is 2 points, no matter how you get there. Oh, no.
That's one thing we haven't had yet.
125.
2 9 daughters in the same session. Have we had 2 in the same week yet? I don't think we have we?
I can't remember one. We've definitely had more than one in the same phase when we were back in the 5-week
40.
cycles.
Okay, so that's the target. Come on, lads. We want another 9 before the end of the week. We could have had 2 today.
52.
Trying to think when we were in lockdown online, was there a week back in the really old format, whether there was one, possibly.
We only had 2 in the at-home darts.
97.
One was Aaron
Corner your
Monk and
car
one was Martin Adams.
144.
And they weren't hitting the same week. This is a much better leg.
92.
helps.
Ran your car
Now Ryan,
132.
Bullseye is calling. Stay right there. That was a somewhat very unkind deflection.
90.
Whitehead,
Conan Whitehead 52.
pick your double, Conan. You've got lots of options. That doesn't help. That one's only just in.
20.
Just
Ranu
made things a bit more
42.
complicated than they should have been.
Chaotic is probably the right word, and he may now find himself 2-1 down.
10.
But he's going to return, and this time it's for a break. And now it's Ryan Furness who are passing the opportunities by. He's had to move all the way across there, Paul.
Game shot on the third
He
leg.
did it really
Conor
well.
Whitehead.
If there is such a thing as a darting cha-cha slide, that was perfectly executed by Conan. Still think there's something in this, you know. He's averaging
Ball play, Conan to
77
throw
right
first.
now as
Game on.
Conan, as is his opponent Ryan. Against Adam Smith-Neale, he lost 4-1 with a 92.96 average.
60.
Against Johnny Haines, he averaged 91.8. He's 14 to 15 points less than that, and he's winning by 2 legs to 1.
58.
Funny old game. Funny old game.
Is there an echo in here?
60.
Can you imagine the sound effect of the dart hitting the board if it had an echo boom? Like the soft tip boards you get in the Far East. Whenever you hit the bullseye in one of
45.
the electronic boards in Japan, it goes like that. I love those noises.
Imagine the paint of FUD on them.
Oh, imagine
100.
Liam Meek's 27-gram darts hitting the board. Like somebody dropping an anvil.
125.
Ryan almost dropping it like it's hot there.
As you mentioned, just
One
managed to get the 2 points.
140.
Whitehead is just working away and chipping away and just trying to carve out whatever opportunities he can.
100.
He's going to return for the 1-4-1. He's going to get 6 darts for a potential 3-1 lead, but again, as he's approaching the finishes, he's having a bit of a wide into the target next
81.
door. He's recovered the visit well, in fairness to him.
But again, he's going to find himself on tops. Not spending a great deal of time in other
45.
departments.
Conan Whitehead 60.
Apart from earlier in this match, of course, where he went around the houses from 18s to 9s to 4s to 2s to 1s. He needs to find a clinical finish. Just get rid of it without any stress. And that's
Game shot on
exactly
the
what he was
fourth
looking
leg.
for,
Conor
right there.
Whitehead.
A really comfortable hold in 18 darts. The average means absolutely nothing. It's all about the W and trying to recoup some
Looks
of
like Ryan to
the
throw
lost
first.
legs
Game on.
from earlier on. His leg difference currently stands at -4, which is the worst in this group. But he's got this game in
81.
hand on the likes of Heneghan and Adam Smith-Neale. So far, he's using it well.
Our good friend and colleague Chris Mason says you
100.
don't write averages on trophies. And this would be the case apparent here for Conan Whitehead.
92.
Well, we mentioned the 9 darter for Conor Heneghan earlier on tonight, and we were posing the question as
60.
to streaks of 9 darters. Well, Conor Heneghan's and Graham Usher's were in successive weeks, consecutive weeks.
So we haven't had 2 in the same week.
140.
So the gauntlet's been laid down. There's still more than 2 days to go for us to get 2 9 darters in a week. But I'm just so glad that we've got one on this stage.
60.
Like 5 is looking very rosy for Ryan.
58.
This is where a maximum comes into it. Conan's the only one to get one in this match so far. Should be second. Beautifully done. That second dart was so good. Just a layup. A perfect shot. But here we go with a bullseye.
99.
Now,
Conan
courtesy of that
Whitehead,
maximum,
101.
Conan gets his first chance to win.
as he timed that max to perfection. He's going to get one match dart, a double 16
Game
to
shot of the
secure
match,
his
Conan
first
Whitehead.
victory of the night and secure it in some style. He had to work hard to get those 2 points, but as he raced towards the finishing line, he gets a high out of 101. That seals him the game. An 82.52 average, 2 maximums in there. The second one gave him the opportunity for the match. It forced Ryan Furness to hit the 130. He didn't. Whitehead took advantage. He's a 4-1 victor, and it means every player now is on the board in Group B. Coming up after the break, it is Adam Smith-Neale against Johnny Haines. The winner of that will get themselves onto 4.
What an evening it's been so far here at the MODUS Super Series. It's Thursday night, the start of Group B this week, and we had some electrifying arrows, including the perfect leg, the 9-darter from Conor Heneghan a couple of games ago. And since then, we've just seen Conan Whitehead pick up his first points of the night and inflict the first defeat of the evening on Ryan Furness, who had won his first couple of matches, but was thrashed really by Conan Whitehead in that one. And he hadn't done too much wrong in the games that he'd lost earlier, but a brilliant 101 checkout to seal victory there for Whitehead. Everybody now off the mark in the Group B table. But Conor Heneghan, top of it, and that feels kind of right, doesn't it? Bearing in mind he's had 115.62 average and hit a 9-darter with another 107 average after that. Ryan Furness falls to second after losing for the first time, and then the other 3 players all on 2 points. And remember, 3 players progress from this group, so it's totally wide open. and all will be to play for tomorrow and indeed for the rest of the evening. Now, the next match is Adam Smith-Neale against Johnny Haines. Only one meeting on record between these two players. That was a European Tour qualifier 6 years ago now. It was won by Haines. Smith-Neale's had to wait a long time for revenge. Will he get it? Let's find out with Henry and Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Murph. What a night we've had. So welcome to Friday morning. Just after 12 local time. And it's time to see if Smith-Neale can get revenge for that match from 6 years ago. Haines, who started his campaign with a 4-0 loss, of course, to Conor Heneghan with that massive average. But the way he was able to take out Conan Whitehead in match 5, that deserves a lot of credit.
If you're Adam Smith-Neale, what's the mindset now? You're the player on the wrong end of that incredible performance from Conor Heneghan. He didn't really do much wrong in that game. How do you now reset going into this one?
I'd be thinking get a win quickly, because this group is starting to bunch up something rotten. Murph's just mentioned that everybody's now got points. 3 players have 2, 2 players have 4, and that's not going to change much in this game, because after this we are guaranteed to have 3 players on 4 and 2 on 2. But I suppose
First leg is Adam to
Smith-Neale
throw first.
got to get a move
Game
on,
on.
because this is his last game of the night. He could find himself at the bottom of the table come the end of the night if he doesn't get a move on.
He could find himself adrift from the rest of the pack.
71.
Who are making their moves very, very quickly in this group.
Things have changed really swiftly tonight. When you think about
44.
how Smith-Neale started his evening by beating Conan Whitehead by 4 legs to 1, you all thought, well, maybe this is going to be Adam's group, but something
55.
has changed over the last hour and a half.
Do you remember about 10:15 we were questioning how Conor was going to react after losing that first game?
Yeah, I do remember that. I think
100.
we've got our answer.
Emphatic.
We talked a bit about Heneghan as well, and how he hasn't got a decent nickname.
137.
He's Irish. He's very good. He shares his first name with a very, very famous MMA
41.
guy called Conor McGregor. I'm not going to say that you should call him notorious, but maybe there's something else in that.
The
140.
notorious Conor Heneghan. Has a ring to it, does it?
It does, but I don't think you should share nicknames with other people from other sports. I think you should try and think of something
58.
a little bit more
Adam Newquan,
original.
98.
It could be something to do with what he's done today. I'm sure Twitter will help him.
24.
It always has its say. Well, Adam Smith-Neale is having his say in the opening leg. Well above and well ahead Johnny Haines in this opener. He's going to leave 74. We'll hold in the opening leg as Haines goes through some running repairs.
He lost one of the flights out of the stems.
41.
Top there.
Adam Newquan, 74.
Tried to save it with his right hand. Could be fraught with peril. So could his chances of leading by 1 leg to 0.
34.
Because Smith-Neale's got time on his side. He will return.
Haynes can only put pressure on from 217, and so Smith-Neale will return for tops for the opening leg.
60. Adam Newquan, 40.
Every single time we ask questions of the players tonight,
Game shown
we
in the first
seem
leg. Adam
to be
Smith-Neale.
getting an answer. Adam Smith-Neale taking the opener against Johnny Haines in a game you feel both have to win, considering their predicaments in the
Like
table.
Johnny to
Most
throw
definitely for
first. Game
Smith-Neale,
on.
because as Paul rightly alluded to, it's his last game of the night. Johnny Haines will return for game 10 of 10
60.
against Ryan Furness.
I think we're all looking forward to the next one, aren't we? Whitehead against Conor Heneghan. You just wonder how much they've got left in the tank after what's been
140.
an exhausting evening. And it has raced by tonight. There were times yesterday morning when we had the Group C
60.
action where we thought things were just ambling along. But tonight it's been a bit more automated at a very good speed. That's good stuff.
123.
Smith-Neale has got himself a really big lead here in leg 2, which may get a lot smaller.
140.
Only 3 points in it now. But Smith-Neale back at the hockey, effectively taking the darts.
86.
Leaves himself on a finish, but he would have felt after the first day he's going to leave it much handier than 152.
41.
But he's going to
Adam
get
Yukar,
6 darts at it.
152.
Haines hasn't quite got up to the races in this game as of yet. Smith-Neale is just taking full advantage of that average
22.
just underneath 88, which has kind of been where he's been for most of the night, not always getting the success he should.
Now, what word would he use to describe that previous visit? And the one that screams to me is grim.
121. Adam Yukar, 130.
22 from 152. He will hate that with a passion. Now, let's not forget that he was in a
Johnny Lucas,
hugely
79.
advantageous position here in leg 2. He might still win it, but he might have to dodge missed darts. Or missed dart. It's now 58. Double top.
59. Adam
There's the
Yukar,
miss.
50.
Can Smith-Neale recover?
Double top.
10.
Huge moments.
Johnny
And
Yukar,
Smith-Neale has
20.
missed 2 for the leg when he was well clear. And Johnny Haines now has 3 clear darts at double 10.
He's on the
And he
second
gets the
leg.
double
Johnny
10.
Haines.
And the crucial visit there was the 22 for Adam Smith-Neale. Well, he wants to put a blank space through that now. He wants to shake it off as we enter leg 3, where Smith-Neale
Leg Adam
has
to
the
throw
darts.
first. Game on.
Out comes the chalk for Johnny Haines. Seemed to work in the previous match.
100.
I never used to like playing against players who used chalk on their darts because I never wanted chalk on my hands. Whenever a player like Johnny
96.
would have chalk on their darts, sometimes it would imprint on the board, and when I was retrieving my darts, I'd get chalk on my fingers, and I couldn't stand it. But what he's done,
44.
somewhat respectfully, I might add, is he's put chalk on the top of the barrels, not towards the bottom where the points are. So he's not imprinting the board with the chalk.
41.
We sometimes see with players, I suppose, Mensa Sulovic being the modern case in point when he used chalk, you'd see all sorts of indents on that top of the 20 bed.
Yeah, Phil Taylor used to use chalk as well, but he had this habit of putting his dart case on the table. It would open up like a book,
83.
and there'd be chalk on the inside of that case. And every now and again, he would just dab his finger on it. You wouldn't need much. You just needed just a touch of
100.
it. Whereas Johnny Haines has got more than a touch on those barrels there.
60.
It almost
Adam
looks like
Yukar,
they've been coated in
160.
corn flour.
Another. Would have left him tops. And it would have been the joint
140.
biggest finish of the week. And he leaves himself on double 10. Great last dart there. Find room to hit the treble from there.
99. Adam Yukar, 20.
Just needs to start finding doubles with a bit more accuracy at the start of a visit.
No score. Johnny Yukar,
Didn't really scare it.
122.
This could be a potential game changer for Johnny Haines. 1-2-2 incoming. Single for the bull. Oh, that's a huge moment.
Johnny Haines.
Huge moment for Johnny Haines after Adam Smith-Neale missed 3 darts at double 10. And it is a break for the punk, who opens up a 2-1 lead.
Like Johnny to throw first.
And
Game
Adam
on.
Smith-Neale, in a game you sense he must not lose, is going to have to try and win it from behind.
100.
He should never have lost that leg. Right now, his gut is going to be writhing.
140.
Great response. But is he being tested tonight or what? Started with a 4-1 victory. After that, a 4-2 loss to Ryan Furness, who was very good against him, averaging 95. And then that ridiculous game, or one of two ridiculous games from Heneghan.
140.
The ante has been upped. Both on 221 after 6. And if Haines is going to find that same sort of range that he found in his final leg against Conan Whitehead, Smith-Neale's got a lot of problems.
And such has been the action tonight, you'd imagine the players are going to struggle to sleep. Such has been the adrenaline and the emotional roller coasters that they've been through over the course of the evening.
Ordinarily, what we find with Group B action on a Thursday is that things finish up around 1:15 in the morning. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys don't get to sleep until about 4.
41.
The good news is they don't have to come back here until maybe 7:30 later on tonight, so they can have a nice lie in.
We're back at about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to prep for
Johnny Ricard,
tomorrow's Group C action.
Yep. I'll be here just before that. Looking to see if Lee Shewan can get to the top spot, where Scott Walters currently heals.
85. Adam Ricard, 160.
He'll be hoping to hail the 160 again, Adam Smith-Neale, but he doesn't trouble it one single bit, and Johnny Haines is going to return to 82. And how quickly this game has changed. And it's all on that 1-2-2 finish. It's the bullseye again for the double 16.
50.
But he's missed those 2 darts to go 3-1 up.
Oh, that was close. As soon as that bullseye was hit, Adam was thinking that's leg over.
Game shot on
the
the
leg is over in
Adam
his favour.
Smith-Neale.
This is one of those yo-yo games. You've just got no idea what's going to happen next. Believe it or not, we've only had one game go the distance tonight. That was Haines beating
Adam to throw
Whitehead.
first. Game on.
So much drama on Thursday night and Friday morning. You just can't believe that only one game has gone the distance. Maybe that's going to change in this one.
78.
It has been a mesmerising night at the MODUS Super Series here at the MODUS Live Lounge. Well, hopefully we'll see more drama like this on Saturday night. And if
100.
so, you will want to join us for the finals. Head to dartshop.tv for all the ticketing information. They are free of charge. You can watch this in person
60.
for free.
I'd come down if I wasn't here already.
100.
I think we've got the best seat in the house.
Well, one of them.
Comfy.
That's not too bad.
100.
It's not very comfortable up on that stage right now. It's decidedly prickly. Especially if you're Adam Smith-Neale, because he's the one who's got this match and this alone. Johnny has got the same points as Adam.
99.
If
Johnny
we look at the
161.
best possible scenario for Adam, he could walk away with 4 points. But Johnny can still walk away with 6. Could be the biggest finish of the week. Bull.
113. Adam Ricard, 164.
Can Smith-Neale gazump his joint biggest finish of the week, which is the 160. The 164,
64.
not on this
Johnny
occasion.
Ricard,
So Johnny Haines
48.
will have the chance to get the break and to go within one of victory.
It's tops.
28.
And it's
Adam
not
Ricard,
3-2.
100.
What a chance he's had to get massive, massive gaps between himself and his opponent.
40.
2 doubles
Johnny
not
Ricard,
found
20.
for ASN and Haines for that break, which he's already missed. Double 5. Oh, he splits it.
Game shot of the
It
fifth
works.
leg. Johnny Haines.
That works really well. Smith-Neale in a lot of bother in this group now, because now he has to find a break of throw. Otherwise, overnight, he's going to be sitting on 2 points and possibly
6 leg.
at the
Johnny
foot
to
of the
throw
table.
first. Game on.
If you're going to gamble, gamble right. And that's exactly what Johnny Haines did. He decided that he wanted one crack at double 4 instead of the
100.
2 at double 5. He did so. He was successful. And that is why he is on the hill against Adam Smith-Neale.
93.
It's got a bit of a ring to that, hasn't it?
It has.
On the hill with Adam Smith-Neale.
That might be Kate Bush's follow-up single.
55.
Oh, no, don't go there. Stranger things have happened, though.
can tell it's getting late.
96.
It's getting very early.
It's getting very good.
It's been brilliant tonight, hasn't it? It's been a real pleasure calling this in with you. Whitehead against Heneghan next.
41.
Can't wait for that. And Johnny Haines has almost surrendered his advantage of throw already, and he very much has so now.
125.
That was a gutsy last dart from Adam. There was a small opportunity there for him to lose that second dart on the floor because it was nestled between another point
55.
and a wire, which means it's not grabbing a lot of sisal.
Was there perhaps a case to switch?
100%.
98.
Just got to be a bit more flexible in using the different parts of the board and understand how your darts are sitting. All is not lost. He's on 89 after 12
41.
to take
Adam
us
Newcombe,
all the way for
89.
the second time in this session.
Crucial moments here for Adam Smith-Neale. Doesn't have to go for the bullseye, so he goes treble 18, double 8, but he
81.
goes inside on the double 8. He will return for double 4. Johnny Haines is looking to apply as much pressure as possible. And crucially for Smith-Neale, if he can get the double 4, it is a break. So it would mean
137.
he
Adam
would
Newcombe,
have
8.
the advantage of throw in the deciding leg if he can get this.
Game
He
shot on the
can.
6th leg.
And we
Adam
will go all the
Smith-Neale.
way. And it will be Adam Smith-Neale who'll have the throw. And it is a crucial leg for him to win because he could get cut adrift if Johnny Haines can move on to 4 points.
7th and
What
final
is it
leg.
we
Adam
keep
to
saying,
throw
Henry?
first. Game on.
Win big, lose tight.
Indeed.
That's magnified in this group as well. There's only
76.
8 games are played for each player. As far as tight games are concerned, Johnny's the king of that tonight. He's the only person who's been involved in
137.
both 4 threes. This is the biggest leg, in my opinion, of Adam's week.
45.
As you mentioned, leg difference comes into play here because it's 3 players that go through. And we see further down the table with less matches that come into play. But Adam
44.
Smith-Neale will not care about legs. He just wants to win this one. Just get the 2 points. Get out of here with 4 on the board. And it's hard to forget that he won his opening game
81.
against Conan Whitehead 4-1. And at that point, we thought the 3-1 bookmakers' odds at the start of the night to win this group looked quite handsome.
137.
Well, Adam has got to start on 19s here. Showing his intelligence, you have to do that.
139.
That is so good. The right tactic, the great execution, and again he leaves a 160, but he might have to hit it.
Most definitely now. 63 remaining. Oh my
159.
goodness gracious.
Adam Newcombe, 160.
For the match. You felt he had to take it, so Haines will return for the double 12 after 12 to wrap it up.
Johnny Haines has been absolutely magnificent at finishing off opponents.
12.
But not
Adam
this
Newcombe,
time.
20.
Adam Smith-Neale using his get out of jail free card to get 4 points from the night.
Game shot
And
on the
uses
mat.
it
Adam
on the
Smith-Neale.
double 10 to get the better of Johnny Haines by 4 legs to 3. But how different the complexion of the group could have been for Adam Smith-Neale. He gets there in the end, an 82.61 average. Johnny Haines got the only maximum of the match. 4 from 13 on the doubles for Adam Smith-Neale, but he wouldn't have cared how he got victory in this match. It was crucial he did. Gets himself onto 4 points overnight. Johnny Haines has got a chance to move himself on 4 when he plays Ryan Furness in the final game of our evening session. But after the break, we're both looking forward to this as Conan Whitehead takes on Conor Heneghan.
Welcome back. Well, tonight's had a bit of everything, hasn't it? And another dramatic darting ding-dong we just witnessed before the break there. Adam Smith-Neale getting out of jail with that 4-3 victory over Johnny Haines after the punk had missed 3 darts to win it in that last leg decider. So Smith-Neale doubles his win tally for the evening, bookending his night with a couple of victories and ending up on the first night of action in Group B with 4 points in the table, level with Conor Heneghan and Ryan Furness, who still both have a game to play. Conan Whitehead and Johnny Haines also do. They have 2 points each. There is a possibility, of course, that we could see everybody end up on 4 points at the end of the night. Well, so then into the next match, and it is that match between Whitehead and Heneghan. Conor Heneghan, what an incredible evening he's having. An average of 79, an average of 116, and then a 9-dart finish. What is next on the bingo card for him? What's left on it? Well, eyes down, look in for game number 9, and that's a pretty apt number for this evening, isn't it? It's what cloud Conor is on and what cloud Henry and Paul are on as well.
Never come off it, have I, Paul?
I don't think you have. Fair play, but what is left in the tank for these two? But I love what Murph just said. That possibility of all 5 players being on 4 points. I've just had a little duck into the production area to ask some of our staff about that. And I've been confidently told that where we've never had it before, where it's been 4 points for all players going into day 2. So over to you, lads. Can you do it? It's up to this guy from Raynham to get 2 points, and then Johnny Haines against Furness. And then we could have a completely symmetrical group where the players will be separated only by leg difference. But Heneghan, the 23-year-old, he might be
first
on
leg
cloud
is
9,
Conan
but
to
his
throw
job
first.
is not
Game on.
anywhere done yet.
Exactly that. And there is a brilliant statistician here at the Super Series who does a brilliant job, gives us everything we need. He will hate the idea of all 5 players on 4 points tomorrow.
Yeah, that's an Abacus United game. But first and foremost, let's talk about Heneghan. Chris Murphy mentioned the start to his night with an average of 78.
22.
I've just done a few quick calculations. He's averaging 100.62 for the night. And he's got 52.6% on his
58.
doubles. That's a pretty good evening.
Check. 44.
But he's not finished. He's still got 1 more match to go. And if Whitehead walks away tonight with 4 points, he'll be jubilant. Because he ran into 2 steam trains earlier.
45.
And his leg difference is not the worst. That currently sits with Johnny Haines at -4. A win for Whitehead. And he will be
41.
in the top 3 going into tomorrow.
And imagine after all that he's done, Conor Heneghan only finishes on 4 points. Could you imagine?
100.
It would prove his point when he was speaking to Chris. 9-darter was great. Big average, great. But you would swap it to be in the top 3 or even qualified already. Here comes Whitehead.
180.
There goes Conan, and first 2 a finish. And I think Conor's got a really good mindset, hasn't he? We've
96.
mentioned that
Conor
tonight.
Heneghan 158.
There's a possibility with some players they could get carried away on the crest of a wave. Conan Whitehead was hoping he'd be getting carried away in the 158 finish. He leaves himself double 12. He's going to be first 2 a finish. He's going to get time with Heneghan all the way back on 238. But how much pressure is this going to be under?
68. Conor Heneghan 24.
Well, he's left himself the fish.
Getting shot on the first
He ain't going to
leg.
get a
Conor
go at it
Whitehead.
because Conan Whitehead clean with a double 12 wins the opening leg. And to be fair, the big fish is the only thing Conor Heneghan hasn't done tonight.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Second leg, Conor to throw first. Game on.
He's got the 9. He's got the best average in this venue. And we do keep those kind of records. That's
51.
the equivalent, you could say, of going to a Diamond League meeting in athletics and having the fastest 100 meters in a place like Lausanne. One of the most
22.
famous venues for athletics in Europe. And people are proud of records like that. It's like the Elmsley Car Mile, do you remember that?
100.
Steve Cram was very, very proud of the fact that he broke that record.
28.
Now, 115.62 can be beaten. The likes of Kevin Burness, Dan Reed, Chaz Barstow, and Jason Askew.
140.
And Boris Koltsov in 2020 beat a 115.62. So it can be done.
58.
But I really want to see somebody break that 120 mark. I think, realistically, I'm not just dreaming here, I think we're going to break it in Champions Week.
96.
And it's probably going to come from someone like Graham Usher. Because when he goes purple, it's more purple than Prince.
42. Conor Heneghan 114.
I'm not even going to want that with a response. Well, Conor Heneghan is looking to respond with the 114. And akin to the last leg, the player throwing first has had a huge
42.
advantage in the scoring stakes. He's going to get as many, really, as he wants from the 72. Because even if Whitehead filled it up, he wouldn't be on a finish.
100. Conor Heneghan 72.
Another. Double top.
32.
He's going to need 2 visits minimum. You think about the fact that we've had, was it 10 9-darters now? We've only had
100.
one
Conor
person
Heneghan,
convert
40.
350 and 6. That's the maximum 6-dart
Game
conversion.
shot on the second leg.
It's 1-1.
Conor Heneghan.
Heneghan's on the board. But that 350 and 6 darts was completed in week 1 of last year. Week 1. The same week
Third leg,
as the
Conor to throw
118
first.
plus
Game on.
average from Jason Askew. So things tend to happen in bunches. So now that we've got the 9 from Conor and the big average, I'm going to hang my hat on the fact that something else is going to happen before
100.
the end of the week.
Something very special, hopefully. Now, in the last game that Conan played, I posed you a question, didn't I? About
40.
Dartford and their famous assistant manager. Any closer to knowing who it is, or do you want to hazard a guess?
No, I'm pretty much like St
125.
Andrews Fairway from 2022. I'm coming up dry.
Martin Tyler, the famous Sky football commentator.
Ah,
100.
isn't he a vociferous Manchester United fan?
Supports Woking.
Ah, I got that wrong then. Don't believe everything you read.
121.
Yeah, been around the non-league circuit quite a lot. Took over in the summer at Dartford, assistant to Alan Dowson, doing okay in the National League South.
85. Conor Heneghan 155.
Well, Conan's going to go south here on the 155, having hit the chubb with the
139.
first dart. And that's set up beautifully. Double 8 after 12.
Considering where he was in leg 2 after 12, this is a little bit better. He was around a
134. Conor Heneghan
351
16.
after 12 darts on the last
Game
leg.
shot on the third leg.
And in
Conor
13 darts, he's
Whitehead.
got nothing left. What an up and down match he's having.
The approach play in this game has been absolutely spectacular in points.
Fourth leg,
Just
Conor
been the
throw
opening
first.
few
Game
bits
on.
which have been a bit mucky for the players.
That's a good word. I like that.
60.
Mucky. It's a bit like coming in from a walk with the dog where everything's just a bit mucky and your boots just feel a bit heavy.
94.
Awkward.
Getting used to them in this weather.
So it's just begun. Middle of September. We probably won't have any decent weather again
100.
until mid-March. Good darts weather over the next 6 months.
What I would say is get the popcorn, whatever you want to
140.
watch. Get your favourite socks on in front of the fireplace and just sit back, relax with a cup of cocoa.
Oh, that sounds too idyllic. You're probably too young to know a guy called Val Doonigan, who was a very famous
140.
Irishman. He had some horrible jumpers. He was noted for doing things in front of the fire. Look at this. Conan's almost on fire.
125.
Catching fire at the white points in the leg. 91 average for Whitehead. Heneghan, 81.33.
105.
Maybe what we've
Conor
seen the
Heneghan,
last couple of
142.
games. So Whitehead for the break of throw and a 3-1 lead. That's laid perfectly for a second, but decided to go for the bull.
102. Conor
Over to you,
Heneghan,
Conor.
96.
You're going to need this. Oh, the 2 double 19s route.
40.
Don't mind that effort
Conor
at all.
Heneghan, 40.
But he's in bother now. Whitehead should hit this.
Game
And
shot
he
on the
does hit it.
fourth leg. Conor
For a
Whitehead.
15 darter on the back of a 13 darter. This is a really good sprint from Conan. Only one more leg required to get himself on 4 points.
This leg Conan
And
to
to
throw first.
confine the brilliant Heneghan to
Game on.
only 4 points for the night.
You mentioned athletics a couple of legs ago. It's the proverbial version of the 10,000 meters. He's doing all the work around, and now he can hear the finishing bell
140.
towards the last lap. And now he's trying to put the afterburners on, trying to make that sprint to the finish against Heneghan, who got out the blocks brilliantly
99.
in games 2 and 3 of his evening. But as he comes towards his proverbial bell, just cannot find anything in game 4.
Who's your favourite?
140.
Oh,
Because
good
one
question.
of mine was a 10,000 meter runner, Haile Gebrselassie of Ethiopia. What a runner! And what a great
83.
interview he was as well. It was so full of joy. Loved watching him being interviewed by certain broadcasters.
91.
See, I grew up in the age of Farah, Bolt. That's some good
I
ones.
go so much further back. Cram, Co, Ovett,
95.
all the
Conor
field
Heneghan,
event guys like
130.
Backley, Mick Hill, Tessa Sanderson, Fatima Whitbread. I do like watching the
58.
javelin because I'm a big fan of watching people throw things.
Do you like the hammer throw? Well, we're going to see the hammer throw on Saturday night, and the battle is here to see who
57.
will join in.
Conor
Conan
Heneghan,
Whitehead
72.
can put himself onto 4 points if he can convert the 72.
That's not a bad miss, that. At least 45. That doesn't.
40.
It left that.
Conor Heneghan,
Heneghan.
167.
Averaging 81 seems to have run out of juice.
131. Conor Heneghan, 32.
Well, this would be the perfect remedy for Conan Whitehead. But it goes inside
Conor Heneghan, 36.
on the double 16, and this could spell danger.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Double 9.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
And
Conor
after
Heneghan.
4 missed match darts, Whitehead has got to go all the way back to the start of another leg. We have seen earlier today, Lee Shewan was 3-0 up in his
Six leg
final
Conor
game
to
of the
throw
day.
first. Game
And
on.
we all thought it was just a matter of time before he finished things off. And the next thing you know, Scott Walters wins 4 straight legs and denies Shewan 2 vital points.
140.
And Shewan did miss match darts in multiple legs. Conan does not want to befall
100.
the same fate.
It's not like other sports where you're still in an identical position and you can have a second crack at it. You have to go all the way back to the start,
180.
and things can change in an instant.
40.
So Heneghan,
100.
81 points away from taking us all the way to a deciding leg.
56.
We're
Conor
seeing
Heneghan,
big
81.
moments here in Group B unfold before our eyes. Doesn't have to go for the bull with Whitehead all the way back on 305. It's the equivalent of Max
41.
Verstappen in pole position compared to the Alpha Tauri of Pierre Gasly, who's probably about a minute and a half the other side of the road.
I think you've lost me the last 10 seconds,
140.
Henry.
Conor Heneghan, 40.
I'm not up on the Grand Prix stuff as much as you are, but Heneghan's up for this. Leg 6. Double 10.
Game shot on the
Big
sixth
time
leg.
shot.
Conor Heneghan.
We're going the distance for the 3rd time tonight. And I suppose we have to mention that even if Heneghan does not win
Seventh
this
final leg,
last
Conor
leg,
to throw first. Game on.
At least he has limited the damage, because with all of these players tightly packed, leg difference has got to come into play at some point in this group. It has to.
58.
You'd feel it's a guarantee, the way things are going. But you sense that the end of this leg could see a seismic swing in
96.
the way we're going to look at the table tomorrow. Victory for Heneghan would put him on to 6 points. That would give him the opportunity to go outright top. Furness can also get on to 6 if he beats
140.
Johnny Haines. If Conan Whitehead wins, well, anything is possible come tomorrow night.
Look what Heneghan's doing.
140.
Exactly what Whitehead has dreaded ever since he missed those 4 darts for the match. Should have won this comfortably. And he didn't start 19s on 303 with an opponent slightly ahead of him.
58.
Is that a tactical error? I have to say yes.
Surely, at this point in the game, you play it as safe as you possibly can. Has to go upstairs now, Conor Heneghan.
60 to leave a finish of 167.
58.
You sense they're both tight now. You sense the magnitude of these next couple of throws is coming into play.
Well, to win a match earlier, Conan Whitehead went
60.
281 and 6. 180 followed by the 101 checkout. He's not going to take this mid-200 score in 6. He's needing mistakes from the Irishman.
83.
Mistakes that do not come. Got to find something.
100.
That
Conor Heneghan,
is just about enough, but
124.
only if Heneghan misses this.
For the match, to put him on to 6 points, to put him top of the group. 1 dart of the bullseye,
shot on the
and
match.
it goes
Conor
for Conor
Heneghan.
Heneghan. And what a night he has had here in Group B. It's an 87 average this time, but let's reminisce on what a fantastic evening we've seen from him. He had an average of 115.62, 4 out of 4 on the double against Johnny Haines, the 107.5 and the 9-dart leg against Adam Smith-Neale. But the reason he's top of the group for now is that 4-3 victory in a deciding leg with that clutch 1-2-4 against Conan Whitehead.
Back to the MODUS Super Series. What a night it's been. It is the night when this new venue, this new look tournament really came alive. A 9-darter from Conor Heneghan earlier on, 115 average for him as well, and it's probably fitting that he is going to be at the top of the table after winning his last match of the night. But Conan Whitehead will be kicking himself. He had 4 darts to win that match 4-1 before Heneghan came back, eventually taking out that 1-2-4 on the bullseye. It leaves him on 6 points. Another man who mismatched darts in his last game was Johnny Haines. 3 of them, in fact, in a deciding leg against Adam Smith-Neale. He's looking to get his 2nd win of the night, while Ryan Furness is looking to get his 3rd and join Conor at the top of the table. So for one last time tonight, it's back over to Paul Nicholson and Henry Deacon.
Thank you very much, Chris. And what a night we have had here at the MODUS Super Series. We've seen stratospheric averages, we've seen 9-darters, we've seen some drama, we've seen some deciding legs. And we're going to see how the group develops for tomorrow's session by the end of play here. Johnny Haines on 2 points after his first 3 games. Ryan Furness could put himself joint top overnight with Conor Heneghan, and we've spoken about Conor all evening, but perhaps Ryan Furness and his performances have been overshadowed a little bit.
I think that's very fair to say. But I think the biggest subject coming into this match is what kind of result does Conan Whitehead need? He's only got 1 win from 3 tonight. He's sitting on 2 points, but I think he would admit to us, if he was sitting in between us now, Henry,
First
he'd
leg
want
is
a
Johnny to
Haines
throw
win.
first.
He doesn't want to see 2 players on 6 points going into tomorrow night. He wants to see 3 players on 4 and himself
60.
on 2, so he's only 2 points behind 3 players. It would make the situation just a bit more realistic for him come Friday night.
He wants carnage. That's what we have seen for large
28.
parts of tonight as well. And a reminder, we return at 9:30 tomorrow morning here on Sporty Stuff TV for the culmination of Group C. Scott Walters
60.
looks as if he's got 1 foot into Saturday night's final after picking up 5 victories from 5 on Thursday. There is a chasing pack developing. Then we return for this tomorrow night from 10. And then Saturday we'll have the
43.
finals in front of a crowd. It's dartshop.tv for ticketing information. You can join us on this Saturday night darty party. And who knows, if
60.
Pompey beat Plymouth on Saturday, it could get very lively in here.
Did I sense a little bit of hope in your voice there?
It is 2nd versus 3rd, so there is a bit of hope.
60.
Oh, there's
that
no
is-
hope there.
That's cruelty. Now, some of his darts have been going in very upright in his last couple of matches, but that collision was violent.
61.
I'm not going to say anything against his equipment because he's actually using an old brand of my
140.
dart. Mind you, I haven't used those darts for quite some time, but he's using them very, very well indeed.
85.
Only good players throw with asset darts.
I wouldn't go that far.
44.
Depends who you're selling down the river with that comment.
Yeah, I guess so. Not going to say anything against Ryan. I think he's a great lad. Credit to Salisbury, credit to himself. And he's recently been selected for the B team for Hampshire. Yeah, he's in the B team.
How good a Hampshire?
92.
And have a monk.
Yeah, Hampshire have got a great squad.
Certainly one of the darting hotbeds at the minute. Johnny Haines will be hoping that
85.
he
Johnny
finds a
Rook got
darting
83.
hotbed by pinning the 83 for an opening leg hold of throw.
Sacrificing a dart to get a shot at the outer ring, which he doesn't even find because he misses the single 18. And the single 14.
Daniel
Should have gone for the
Rook
treble 17 in the end.
101.
Probably would have got it, ironically. Treble 19. We left him a dart at double 12, so Haines will return, but he should really be having
49.
free at
Johnny
double
Rook
here.
43.
Ryan Furness should really have had a shot at double in this leg because he had
Shot on the
120
first
on the
leg.
floor.
Johnny Haines.
But Johnny Haynes takes it. That's 23 darts, and there is the biggest highlight of that leg. 120 on the floor.
Low light as far as
Round to throw first.
Ryan
Game
Furness is concerned, but he's got to put that to the back of his mind here. Move on to leg 2.
41.
Both of these guys may have run out of steam at this early part of Friday morning.
85.
We're about to hit 1 a.m. And I remember saying at the start of 2021, when we were doing these particular
94.
shifts, it was very unusual for these players to be playing at 1 o'clock in the morning. You don't see that very often anywhere. Unless they're in a tournament
1 out of them,
that has
40.
run well over its usual time slot. But these guys playing at this time of night now is very normal. It happens every Thursday,
100.
Friday and Saturday night. It is the new norm.
It's part of the darting ecosystem.
80.
These two are some of the regulars here. So one of the things that we like about this is we try and find new faces all the time, but we get to see players like Ryan Furness who burst onto
99.
the scene here and has subsequently become one of our regular faces in front of the screen. And this is what you want. You want to develop characters, develop new faces, and
100.
when they get the
Ranu
opportunities
Akbar,
at things like
167.
WDF World Championship, ADC World Opens, that they're not players that are completely new to the spectators and to those watching.
58. Johnny Akbar, 96.
Johnny Haynes is the only person in this group who has not graced a weekly final. 3 of the 5 have won a weekly title.
88. Ranu
Ryan
Akbar,
Furness
109.
has got one. That was in week 3 of phase 3 this year.
57. Johnny Akbar,
Johnny
8.
to double the lead with a better leg than leg 1.
Game
That's what he's
shown
got
the
with a
second
double
leg.
4.
Johnny
That's 17
Haynes.
darts, and the average has gone up to 75. Just wonder if Furness has just hit the wall a bit. He started brilliantly tonight with a 90
I'd like
average.
Johnny to throw first.
And he
Game
peaked
on.
at a 95 against Adam Smith-Neale, but since then, his average has been well below 80 on both occasions.
1 out of them, 40.
Ryan has had the longest shift of anyone here this evening. He played in match 1. He beat Conor Heneghan by 4 legs to 2. He's now playing in the last. And of course, the fixtures will
134.
flip tomorrow. So this will subsequently be the first game of our evening session tomorrow. And then Furness will finish the group up against Conor Heneghan. And that could potentially be a game that decides a heck of a lot.
125.
I think if you were asking Conor that right now, he will hope that the job is done before he plays against Ryan Furness.
100.
But right now, he's leaving the building thinking he's rather lucky to have got a 6th point. He shouldn't have got that 3rd win.
And it will be Dartshire Vu because
1 out of
for
them,
the second
40.
time this week he'll go into the final round, top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, he's got a stew on it overnight, hasn't he? Like he did
100.
from
Johnny
Tuesday to
Akbar,
Wednesday.
96.
It'll be fascinating to see how he behaves a little bit later tonight with that. Johnny Haynes, 96 for a 3-0 lead. And Furness just doesn't seem to be able to find enough in the
38.
scoring stakes
Ranu Akbar,
worry his opponent.
167.
Well, this would severely worry Johnny Haines if he got the first treble and the subsequent ones. They would have left him the poke at the bullseye,
57.
but Haines will
Johnny
return
Akbar,
for 58 for a
58.
3-0 lead, and I have to say it has been quite routine and quite comfortable thus far. Tops it is. Now down for double 10.
Game shot on the
Pins
third
it,
leg.
and
Johnny
it is a
Haynes.
3-0 lead for Johnny Haines. Ryan Furness hasn't had a dart at double in this game so far. Johnny Haines is 3 from 6, so when he's got the opportunities at the outer ring, he has taken them more
Fourth
often
leg
or as
Ryan to throw
often
first. Game
as
on.
not, and he's cruising towards victory here.
Gradually improving leg on leg. Went from 23
58.
17 to 15. Things are getting into a pretty decent range for Johnny. He is very happy playing in a relaxed fashion, but
95.
if he stays focused here, he's going to do enough to make sure he walks into Friday night with 4 points alongside Furness.
1 out
A
of them,
4-0
40.
victory for Johnny Haynes here would get his leg difference back to all square but it would demote Ryan Furness to
100.
-3, so he would leapfrog his opponent with the big victory.
Set up so nicely for tomorrow night, isn't it? No matter what happens, it looks as if Johnny
33.
Haines is going to make it 3 players on 4 points, with Whitehead on 2 and Heneghan on 6.
Start of the night with a
100.
4-0 drubbing at the hands of Heneghan did Johnny Haines. At that point, he was looking like a daft punk.
100.
Now he's looking a bit more fruitful.
One more time, he's hoping he'll have to go to the well.
100. Ryan Car 170.
To save the match, we haven't had one this week. We might get it in the early hours. Bull.
145.
so close.
Johnny Car
It's 106 for the win for Johnny.
To seal the match, to seal victory in next to no time at all. Johnny Haines has missed the big number again, so Furness will return for the 25 to make it 3-1. 8-8.
Game
There it
the
is.
fourth leg. Ryan
And the
Furness.
game goes on, but for Johnny Haines, he will have the darts here in the 5th leg to seal a 4-1 victory. If so,
Johnny to throw first.
he
Game
would
on.
join Adam Smith-Neale and Ryan Furness on 4 points. And it would set up a grandstand sprint for the line. And the final day's action in Group B tomorrow, 10 o'clock we start here on Sporty Stuff TV in the evening.
42.
We'll return tomorrow morning from 9:30 for the conclusion and culmination of Group C here at the Super Series. And at the halfway stage, Scott Walters is 10 from 10.
85.
5 wins on his opening day. Lee Shewan, Kevin Painter, Steve Brown, Moreno Blum, the closest competitors. Liam Meek will need a big day tomorrow to qualify in the top 2.
115.
As I say, 9:30 start, Sporty Stuff TV. And the victors will return for Saturday night's finals, 10 p.m. Sporty Stuff TV. And of course, you can join us here. It's dartshop.tv for your
85.
free tickets for that one.
$81.
Just keeps Furness in it if Haines cannot get a big score.
$60.
But the door is now open for Ryan Furness if he can find himself a treble. Do the right thing, Ryan.
99.
Do the right thing. And he does by leaving the 164. So he is going to get a poke, but how handy can Haines leave this? Wow. That's as disastrous as it gets for the first 2 darts of Johnny Haines. He's going to have to
21. Ryan Car
find a
164.
treble. He couldn't. And so Furness is going to get 6 and 164 to bring it back to 3-2.
45.
And we could see a swing in this game that perhaps no one predicted a couple of minutes ago. Because this would be for a break.
100. Ryan Car 119.
Will the 119 go? Not this time. So Johnny Haines is going to have the
59.
opportunity
Johnny Car 90.
at 90 for the match. And to put himself on to 4 points. The bullseye will
Game
do it
shot on the
for
match.
Johnny Haines.
Haines.
And we are going to have a grandstand finish to Group B tomorrow night. 3 players locked on 4 points. Conan Whitehead on 2, Conor Heneghan on 6. We'll talk about that more with the guys in just a second. Here's the summary of this one, though. 79.91 for Haines. 4 from 7 on the doubles. 57.14%. That equates to the high out of 90. Ryan Furness, 77.83 average. It was just an off one at the end of the session for the pair. So then let's get the final thoughts and reflections of the asset, Paul Nicholson. He's made his way up to the gantry to join Chris Murphy.
Thanks, Henry, and I hope you managed to get some sleep tonight. You sound like you enjoyed himself, Paul, and I'm sure you did as well.
Yeah, that was a great session. Best session of the week so far. And I say so far quite loosely because I get the feeling that tonight on Friday is going to be rather exciting to have the climactic aspect of Group B. Group C is going to be great as well, but that is a great marker set down by all of the guys tonight. Johnny Haines, really with that 90 check out of the end, that was terrific.
Yeah, let's unpick what's happened this evening because, of course, the 9-dart finish will take the headlines. But if we have a look at the table at the halfway stage, I mean, it's really all to play for. Even Conor Heneghan, after a brilliant night, isn't safe.
Not at all. He has some recent history from Wednesday where he came into the final day of Group A and wasn't able to get the job done. So some demons will be floating around him over the next 15 to 16 hours. So he's going to have to address that. But Conan Whitehead at the foot of the table, he's definitely left some points out there tonight. But if he was to come away with 3 wins out of 4 for Friday night, he's definitely got a good chance. But I think you'll see a definite aggressive mindset from Conan, but everybody's still in it, and that's what makes for a great Friday night action.
Yeah, that will be decided tomorrow evening from 10 p.m. here on Sporty Stuff TV. But tomorrow morning, or this morning even, from 9:30 a.m., we have the conclusion of Group C. And we would say Scott Walters probably is safe.
Maybe 3/4 of a foot in to Saturday night, but I think the first game against Lee Shewan is enormous because if he gets to 12 points, he's got such a massive gap at the top. You've got to think he's safe if he wins that first game.
The likes of Kevin Painter and Steve Brown in action as well. Steve Brown, who missed the double for a 9-darter earlier today, only to see Heneghan hit it tonight. 2 players from that group go through to finals night on Saturday. 3 from the group you've been watching this evening. And Andy Hamilton is already there. Tickets are available as well, free from dartshop.tv for this Saturday's finals night or any finals night in the coming weeks. Do come down and join us here. You will not regret it. Paul, it's been fantastic, hasn't it? Should we do it all again tomorrow?
Yeah, all right, why not?
Thursday's been thrilling, and I think Friday is going to be fun. We'll see you then.